Can you see me? Can you hear me? If you can, give me a wave. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to day 3 of the Own Your Future Challenge, my friends. Let's get in the chat box and let's start with just some group energy. Whether you're here in Zoom on VIP or you're on YouTube or you're in Facebook, give us some love. How you feeling out there at day 3? You guys have done a lot. Come here, I have to tell you something. As today, starting today, day 3, you've trained with the legends of this industry. Now for 3 days, give it up for everyone, my friends, dedicating your time to take yourself to the next level. That is something to celebrate. I have to tell you really quick. I have to tell you something. Last night, I said to you, some of you didn't totally do like the homework and the challenge, and I gave you guys, I was like, hey, come on, you got this. And last night, I was in the Facebook group, and all of us, the team was chatting. Some of you waited till the very last moment, you made a post and you said, I wasn't gonna do it, but I did it. And whether you're someone that's gone live or you did it for the first time yesterday, did one of these challenges, got over the feeling of being uncomfortable, I'd love as a team collectively for us to just celebrate everyone that's here, that's going for it, that's owning your future. Let's just do one big celebration of this entire family, this entire community, my friends. You rock, you're amazing. We're so proud of you. And you're just getting started. You are just getting started. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Amazing. All right, my friends, it is day 3 of the Own Your Future Challenge. I have a few quick things for you guys this morning. Number 1 was just to celebrate you. You're taking uncomfortable action. You're seeing what's possible. You're recognizing how powerful this industry is. Who is, by the way? By show of hands, who's recognizing and seeing how powerful the industry is and that you are also powerful, even if you haven't yet recognized it? You have been on a journey. Not only are you training with the greatest of all time, I mean, between Dean and Tony together, they have over 65 years of experience, but you guys have another incredible lineup of speakers that have joined you on this stage and that are going to continue joining you over the next couple days. Have you enjoyed the guest speakers that are donating their intelligence and their time to be here to train you? They've been amazing. Let's just give them some love. And I want to recap where you've been. Day 1 was all about your psychology. He kind of threw you into the deep end and said, hey, we need to grow here first. We have to have the mindset before we'll really get to the business part. Is that the truth? Who feel like they shifted some aspects of their psychology? You shifted those beliefs. Then yesterday you came back and learned about your dot. Or you learned that maybe you don't have a dot yet and you're willing to explore what your dot is. Did anyone get some clarity yesterday? By show of hands, say yes. And now you're here today. And I'm sure some of you are like, how could this possibly get any better? Well, I have to tell you, my friends, today is the most important day yet. Dean is so unbelievably excited about what he's going to share with you today. He was just sharing with us just before we came on this morning in voice notes. I think the man doesn't sleep. I think he was up at like 4 a.m. obsessing about what he's about to teach you guys today. But we have everything set up, his notes, we got the whiteboard. Things are about to go down here in literally 2 minutes when Dean gets on stage. He's going to share with you what he believes is the most important thing, that not just what you've learned so far, but that's going to carry you into owning your future. The most important thing is about to happen right now. I mean, is that enough anticipation for you? Are you on the edge of your seat, Alan Thomas? I'm not sure, there he is! Let's give it up for Alan Thomas, everybody, my friend. So that's about to happen right now. It's the most important day. You guys, we're going to try to keep today tight at 2 hours, which means we've got a lot to do in a short amount of time. If we're going to make that happen, that means that you and I together as a team, we're a team here, right? Day 3, are we a team by now, my friends? Are we a family? Are we owning our future together? That means that we're going to have to show up today with more energy. And even if this is the 3rd day and you're like, gosh, 3rd day of training, that means we have to coach ourselves. At the end of this thing, who's going to be there for you to coach you? You. So we've got to coach ourselves to taking the actions we need to get where we want to go, and that starts right here in this moment. So if you would please shift the shoulders back, lift your head up, be the commander of your chair and of your life. And I'm going to share with you, Dean's going to come up here, and then we have 2 other phenomenal speakers that are going to be joining you on this stage. You have 2 hours today, that's it. Can we do anything for 2 hours? Yes? Can you go all in? Can you keep your shoulders back, your energy up? So right after Dean, you guys have Jamie Kern-Lima, Oh my goodness. I know I see some of you clapping already. You're already excited. One of the most incredible human beings ever. She's about to steal your soul, and she has the most beautiful story. So if you ever sometimes get these moments of like fleeting belief in yourself and then you lose it, you're going to want to hear what she has to say, because you'll never lose that belief in yourself after it, I promise. Then you're going to have Russell Brunson come to the stage, another one of the most intelligent business minds. Yes, come on, give it up for Russell Brunson, another one of the most intelligent business minds and marketers that exist on the planet, and Dean brought him here for you guys today. So you have such an insane lineup. Flip to a new page in your notes. Own yourself. 2 hours all in. Are you ready? I mean, I'm not sure. I said, it's day 3 of the Own Your Future Challenge. Are you ready? All right, then sit up in that seat with some energy. Let's crank this music one more time, and let's welcome to the virtual stage, Dean Graziosi!
I mean, if we can't celebrate on a Thursday for owning your future, what can we celebrate? Oh, hey guys, what's up, Wayne? Good to see you. Hey, Teresa. Catherine Jones, what's going on? Milani. Robin, what's going on, Robin? Antonio, good to see you. Hey guys, you ready for day 3? I know, KK. What's up, everybody? I see all the chat from all the different groups here. So, listen, what an incredible adventure. I have to tell you, this is no exaggeration, this has been the most fun event I've ever been a part of ever. Thank you for that. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for playing full out. Thank you for opening and being receptive to those of you who came. We said a third of you came. You weren't even sure why you came. Jamie Kern Lima told you to come, or Russell, or Tony, or myself. You're like, I'm going to show up, see how I own my future. And you show up trusting us, and you came on this journey with us to understand the power of this thing called the self-education industry, this groundswell, this wave that's coming in. Some of you are in this game, some of you tried and failed, and you came open-minded and you're rocking the house. Some of you are in the game, crushing it, and you know you can learn that competitive edge from Tony and I. We might be doing the largest internet training in the history of the world with 937,000 people registered. Can we give it up for that? And just think, and I know, listen, and I also know some of you just joined us today, okay? So you're kind of just jumping in. This is my favorite day. Today's the day that you learn truly my biggest secret to success. That's not an exaggeration. It's not hyperbole. What you're going to learn today is recession-proof, winter-proof. It is everything-proof. It's what pulled me from a kid from a little town in upstate New York that didn't go to college, who didn't have money, to someone who's been blessed to be standing here in front of you right now, being a multiple New York Times best-selling author, starting multiple companies, and have dear friends like you're seeing show up just because I text them or call them, and they're showing up on their dime. I am so honored, I'm so blessed, and I don't take it lightly that you're spending this time with me today, and we're gonna light it up. Are you guys ready for the biggest secret of my life? Seriously, the biggest strategy of my life? Will you play on that next level today? Will you open your mind to where you want to go and where you need to be, right? We talked about, for those of you just joining us, I'm not going to take a long time, but we talked about what we're doing in this industry, this exponentially growing industry. We're socially distanced. We are virtually connected. The knowledge industry, the self-education industry, the creators industry, whatever you want to call it, is heading towards $1 billion a day. And what we shared on day 1 is we busted the beliefs of, I don't have anything to share, or this isn't for me, or I failed before. We showed you how powerful this industry is and why now. And like the Wayne Gretzky quote, we're skating to where the puck is going. I think we knocked that out of the park. Did Tony kill it day 1 or what? Right? And Jenna Kutcher, oh my God. But then yesterday, didn't it get more real? For those of you that were here yesterday, can you put in the chat, did the dot make it real yesterday? I saw all the comments of people going, holy crap, I do have something to share, right? I mean, I know you still have those hesitations. That's okay. By the time we get to day 5, I promise you, they're going to be gone. But yesterday, look at all that coming in. Yesterday, I thought it was so powerful to see, like, oh, wait, I did go through that mess. Or I did spend a few years figuring that out. Oh, I am a chapter ahead or a book ahead, right? And then to see the people after people doing things like helping dogs with their bad hips, or helping people through a divorce, or helping people go vegan, or invest with their retirement. Like everything you could possibly imagine, the world is saying, I'm not going back to college. I'm not going to figure it out on my own. Who's willing to share what they've been through, right? So that's what we've learned so far. Amazing industry, perfect time in history. I truly believe with all of me, and I don't just like to repeat myself for no other reason. I truly believe with all of me that within 3 years, within 3, not 50, within 3 years, this industry will be just as popular as somebody saying, you know, when you're a kid, it's like, you want to be a doctor or a lawyer or an architect? What does 75% of all kids right now under 20 want to be? In this industry. Why not us be the leaders to impact their lives and show them how to do it the right way or learn on another level? This is where the world's going. We're here. That's why we say it's time to own your future. You guys ready to own your future? All right. So let me tell you what my favorite thing in the whole world is to teach. And the thing that will transform everything. And that's turning sales into service. Because I'll just share this with you. If you build it, they will not come. If you build the greatest restaurant in the world, you create the greatest course in the world, the greatest workshop, the greatest weekend Zoom call. If you have the heart to serve, if you build it, they won't come without marketing and sales. So we have to find a way to not only learn how to do it, we have to find a way to absolutely love it. And before I get into tactics today, I'm going to make you a bet. I'm going to make you a bet. If you're really honest right now, in the chat, raising your hands, be completely honest. Who in here is a little bit apprehensive to sales? I bring it up and you go, ooh, raise your hand if you're a little bit apprehensive. Okay? Raise your hand if you're just really scared of sales. Okay? Raise your hand if you don't mind sales, but you know you could get a hell of a lot better. Okay, that covers pretty much everybody, okay? But if you noticed, if you could see on the back when I said who's a little apprehensive, almost 75% of your hands went up. And we're going to change that today. We're going to change that in a way where it is going to change for the rest of your life. I think the next 20 minutes could be the most profound for you. I'm glad you're going to spend the whole 5 days with us. I hope everybody in here, if this is where you want to go, who has made the decision you are going to be in this industry or you're going to scale in this industry? Like definitively. Already over the 2 days, this is it. You're doing it no matter what it takes, right? What I'm going to share with you in the next 20 minutes is going to make all the difference. Because if you change your mindset like we did on day one, if you learn what your dot is, what your niche is, right, what you're going to teach, and then you narrow it down even more, and then you find exactly the people that want that from you, if you don't learn today, you'll never get it in their hands. You'll never be able to help them across the bridge. We are bridge builders. Now we have to learn how to sell the bridge. Nobody's coming if you don't. And I want to share this before we go any further. And I mean this. And if you could see the amazing people who have come, and I have 2 more of my dearest friends on the planet coming here today. And I mean this with all of me. I'm going to ask you that if you're going to learn this, to step up the love. Step up the way you care. Step up the service, the course, the product, the Zoom call, whatever it is you create, make it better than you ever imagined. Make it so good that you feel bad for people who don't get it. Can I get a promise on that? This world right now, is this world kind of hurting right now? Does the world need role models? Does the world need leaders? Does the world need people to sell and serve through authenticity with no BS, no hype? Who in here is sick of hype selling? Who in here is sick of seeing ads that say, get rich in 5 minutes for doing nothing? Are you done with it? Because I am. Are you done with fix your relationship in 8 seconds, lose weight by taking this pill, get rich by hitting a few keypads on your keyboard? We're all done with it. So can we all just agree right this damn second that we are going to use what I'm about to share with you for good? Can we have it in there? We're going to use it for good. It is that powerful. Because here's the problem with sales. Sales has gotten a bad name. And, you know, When you watch movies, it's always the cheesy salesman, or someone's pushed you into something you don't want, right? But that's not the frame of this business. You see, if we don't sell people, we don't get to serve them. Can I ask you a question before I go any further? Who's really glad? Because no matter what Tony and I did, I could have put all of these people together, and you paid us by being here in your time. We have thousands of people in our VIP. Let me just ask you, who is glad that Tony and I shot ads, produced, did marketing, spent money, and did what we could to get you to register to be here? Put your hand up if you're glad we marketed to you. Let me ask you a question. Would we have been doing you a disservice now that you've been with us 1, 2, or 3 days? Would we have been doing you a disservice if we didn't let you know about this? Right? How can we change your life? How can we give you these capabilities? How can you learn from Jamie Kern Lima? How she went from Denny's to selling her business for $1.2 billion? $1.2 billion. How do you learn that if we don't market to you to get here to learn those capabilities? And we're going to go through a little process. Not only will you realize that if you build it, they won't come, so we have to market, and also that the selling is the oxygen for anything, for any impact, right? I want to share one thing, a stat that might blow your mind. Just as if you build it, they won't come. If you write it, they won't come. Did you know, who in here has ever been in a Barnes & Noble? Did you ever walk in there and see hundreds of thousands of books, right? Did you know that 80% of every book in that store has sold less than 1,000 copies? Did you know out of the 20% that have sold more than 1,000, 80% of them have sold less than 2,000? So think about all the energy. Anybody ever try to write a book? I'm a multiple New York Times bestselling author. I write my own books. I hate writing books. I'm just going to be honest. I love the end result. It's like going to the gym. I hate going to the gym. I love the way I feel when I'm done. I hate writing a book. It is so much work. It is agonizing. And you get it back from the editor and you want to rewrite the whole thing again. So much work, energy, and effort went into those books, and so much value. You know, much value and fun and adventure and advice and so many things in those books. They wrote them. They took 2 years to write them, and they got a publishing deal. Like, yay! And it got in Barnes & Noble, and you walk in, you're like, yo, that's my book. And 80% of them don't sell over 1,000 copies. Why? Because they wrote it and thought people would come. They're not coming. They're not coming. But they will when you learn what I'm going to share with you today. But before we get into this, I want you to remember, day one, I told the story and asked you to think of if you had 2 weeks to prepare. If you had 2 weeks to prepare to pick a topic like your career or finances or health, and you had a couple hours to spend with your 20-year-old self. I just want to remind you of that. What did you guys say that was worth? I forgot. You had 2 weeks to prepare a training, a course. Imagine you were preparing a weekend workshop. We're going to talk about this, but imagine if you met your 20-year-old self and you had an hour and they didn't know it was you. Ooh, and you had to convince them to pay $50 for what you wanted to share with them. How valuable would that be? Right? And what would you do if your 20-year-old self's like, nah, I'm good. I don't need this. I mean, seriously, let's just be honest. If your 20-year-old self, if you spent 2 weeks preparing, this is what you need for the real in-depth relationship in life, the love you deserve, you won't go through that troubled relationship, or this is what you need for your career, you won't start that job that didn't fulfill you, and you spend 2 weeks writing it. Could you imagine if you were talking to your 20-year-old self and like 4 minutes in, they're like, nah, I'm good, and they started walking away? I mean, what is the first word you feel if your 20-year-old self started to walk away? I have the word like, I would tackle them. Like literally, I would hogtie them. I would duct tape them to a chair and make them listen to me, right? Now, I'm not giving you a duct tape to a chair strategy on how to sell, but when you see me or Tony or anyone enthusiastic about an opportunity, it's because we feel that same way. If you guys want to continue this journey with us, we want to be able to help you get there and not let you down, because we know on your own, most likely you retreat and go back to the life you're at. It's that important to us. I'm not going to hogtie anyone, but it's that important, and that's where my enthusiasm comes from. That's where my excitement comes from. Mary, thank you. Marilyn, thanks for the heart. But it's true. But I want to tell you a little story, a couple little stories to really, I think these couple stories will change everything in the most important thing you need in any area of your life. Brand new, didn't even know why you were coming, tried, not working, or you're dabbling, tried and failed, or you're in the game and it's ready to scale. I love to tell the story about my wife when I first met her. We were dating for a while, and my wife's a badass, for lack of a better word. She was voted the top hairstylist in Arizona 8 out of 10 years, and did amazing for herself. Incredible clientele, loves her job. She specializes in hair extensions. She's just so good. And she loves making women, like she is such a woman's woman. She loves making women look beautiful and feel confident. And if a woman leaves her salon feeling good, she won. That's her day, right? The byproduct is she gets paid. That's why she's so damn good. So I'm talking to her one day and I said, how do you do this? How do you do that? And I said, and you're so good at obviously selling because you charge 3 times as much as anybody I've ever seen in my life. And people love you. She's like, oh, babe, that's you. I don't sell. I don't like selling. Ooh, just like most of you raised your hand. She goes, I don't like selling. It makes me feel uncomfortable. And I knew she was full of it. She was so good at it, but she didn't look at it as selling. She looked at it as serving. She just didn't recognize the correlation. So I waited. I don't know if it was a day. This is years ago. I don't know if it was a day or 3 days ago, but I wanted to get her. So I said to her, hey, babe, I'm starving for Italian food, and we're foodies. We love to go to dinner. We're both so busy that when we go to dinner, it's that time, phones off, stare at each other, have conversation. I feel blessed. I'm madly in love with my wife, and I'm so lucky she's madly in love with me, so we're pretty damn lucky. So we go to dinner, and it's magical, still to this day, kids and all, right? So I said, babe, where should we go? And this is Lisa. This is her hand. She goes, oh, my God, babe. Babe, listen, there's an Italian restaurant up north, and they make their own pasta. What do you call it when pasta's like chewy? It's not too soft. Oh, al dente. The pasta's al dente. Oh, my God. And they cook their sauce all day, and it's not chunky. It's like smooth. Oh, my God, it's so good. And she said, and the meatballs, I don't eat meat a lot, but when I do, you just touch them with a fork and they open up and they glisten with olive oil. And she's going on. My mouth is like, you know when somebody explains something so good, like your mouth is watering, like it might be for you? I see you, Gail and Rachel, right? She's telling me, like, I'm salivating, right? And she's like, babe, not only do I want to go, like I want to buy the restaurant so I can have this recipe for the rest of my life, right? So I laugh and she says, why are you laughing at me? I said, babe, you're the greatest saleswoman I've ever met in my life. I want to drive there 200 miles an hour. And she's like, well, that wasn't selling. She's like, I just wanted you to experience it. And I said, aha. Do you see? When you love something so much that you want someone to experience it, you'll never sell again in your life. I said, babe, you have the busiest salon, make the most money, charge 3 times as much. The reason is because you're not selling, you're serving these people. You want them to experience what it looks like to sit in your chair and leave feeling beautiful. And that's the secret. It's why I asked you to love what you do, because you've all sold. All of those you that raised your hand, if you read a book that was amazing, you sold your friends on it. You went to a movie that made you cry and laugh, you sold your friends on it. Did you go, hey, you know that movie I saw the other day, you should check it out? That was cool. No, you're like, oh my God, he's so cute. And then he did this, and then they kissed, and then at the end, right? You're animated, you're excited because you want someone to experience it. When we attach that to what we create, then selling never becomes selling again. I'll tell you another story. I was at an event with all women, businesswomen, a couple thousand businesswomen, amazing event. And I get up on stage and I said, who here wants to go to the next level? I do. Who wants more? I do. Everybody's fired up. I said, who here is a little apprehensive or doesn't like selling? Literally, same as here. 75, 80% of the room raised their hand. And I noticed this even more with women. They at least admit it. I think guys feel the same, but we got to feel like, no, I could sell, right? So they raised their hand. So I saw this woman, one of the thousands of women that raised their hand. Second row, I called her. I said, hey, stand up. She said, hi. I said, so what do you do? And she's like, oh my God, I didn't know, before I had a baby, I didn't know that 4th trimester was real. She said, 4th trimester is a nightmare. She's like, I had the baby. Why do I still have this? And she like grabbed her stomach. She goes, why would I still have this? And my hormones, I thought I was going insane. And then she said, then I realized I lost myself. I'm not me anymore. I'm just mom. I'm just wife. Or I'm just girlfriend. I'm not me anymore. And she says, I'm like totally freaking out. She said, but then I got my emotions under control. And she said, I went through this process and now I coach moms who had a baby, to get him back on track, to not suffer. I said, are you good at it? She goes, oh my God, I love it. And she gave me the framework. She goes, I do this, and then I do this, and then I get them here, and I get them looking sexy, and I get them out of their shell. And I said, tell me about someone you're coaching. She's like, oh, and she was like running her seat. She goes, oh my God, I'm coaching this one girl. And she told me she came in, and she felt this, and she thought her husband was going to leave her. He loved her to death. And now she walks in my thing. She's this radiant thing. And I said, I wanted to shock her a little bit. And I said, so then, why are you screwing so many women over? And she went from this excited look, and she's like, well, what do you mean, why am I screwing women over? I just told you I love. I said, are you good at it? She goes, I'm the best at it, Dean. I said, then why are you screwing women over? And she's like, I understand. I said, listen, hun, her name, I forget her name, but whatever her name was, I called her by name. I said, listen to me. I feel your passion, and I feel your depth of service, and I feel how good it is you share. But by you not marketing and not selling, there are so many women going through that right now, and they're suffering in silence. They're suffering in silence. And I said, they only have two options. They don't find you because they don't market, because you don't market to them or don't offer your product. And they got to try to figure it out on their own. I said, can you cut that distance? She goes, oh my God, I could cut it down to weeks. I said, or secondly, someone else who doesn't care at the level you do, sells them because they're good at marketing and lets them down. So are you going to let them down by going to someone else or let them down to suffer in silence? She goes, absolutely not. I said, what are we going to do? She goes, I am going to sell. And the entire place erupted, and I watched 2,000 women in one moment feel completely different about sales. Because, am I right, in the chat, wouldn't she be doing a disservice by not helping more people? Wouldn't the guy yesterday be doing a disservice to dogs with bad hips if he didn't share or helping eat vegan? Or the woman who's helping young men and women who are widows and widowers? And every single thing that you've went through, somebody's starting at day one. You're not being a disservice if you sell them. You're screwing them over if you don't give them. And because they're looking for it. They need it. Why do you think? I mean, somebody said to me once on my book, Millionaire Success Habits. The book is about 1 million copies. And I remember there was ads everywhere. It was selling like crazy. And a friend of mine said, you know, you got a lot of ads going out there. I'm like, well, thank God. And he's like, do you think it's too much? I'm like, no, it's not enough. I said, listen to me. How can I help people if they don't read my book? By osmosis? Did I just put it out in the universe and hope it lands on their forehead? I said the only way is if they cut a check, get the book, they read it, I get to change their life. The only way that happens is if I market and sell to them. And I do it through love because I know I obsessed on that book. I obsessed on the course Tony and I created. We obsess on our live events so much that if we don't get people to say yes, Tony and I will call each other and go, man, why didn't we get more people? Our goal for this challenge was 1 million people. Do you know how outrageous that is? When we told our teams and told everybody, like, 1 million, like, did you ever see a picture of Woodstock? It was 500,000 people. It's a mile of people. By the time this video ends tonight, over 500,000 people will watch it. That's what we're talking about. That's how we make impact. That's how we change lives. And we get to do that through service. I want to share one more thing that's really personal. Really personal. And I want to show you how this happens in real life, even in my own life. So, could you pull up the slide really quick, Mike? This is a girl named Jamie Falahi, and she might be here. Jamie, how are you? And Jamie created a course on her cell phone, in her kitchen, on how to help kids naturally with eczema. Okay? So you can take that down. So, she was one of our students, and same thing. She went through... She had a son with eczema. She hated putting steroids on him. If you know anything about eczema, it's an internal thing that manifests on the outside. It's liver, it's stomach, it's probiotics. It's a balance of a lot of things, right? She had a son that was going doctor to doctor. Finally, she couldn't take it. She went to every natural doctor, every regular doctor, read every book, tried everything, and naturally healed her son of eczema. And said, there's probably other moms and parents struggling. I want to help. She works with Tony and I, give her the capabilities. She creates this course, and then it's like, I can't sell. And she got trained by me. Something way more in-depth than what I can do today in an hour. But it not only flipped her mindset, it gave her the capability to go find the people that she wanted. She found her dot, right? We know what the dot is, her unique thing. And she went and found people that needed the dot. What if we had to come over? She's like, well, I'm not a doctor. We don't want to learn from a doctor. We want to learn from someone who went through it and is on the other side, the bridge builder, right? Here's the thing that Jamie didn't know when she built that course and when she put it out there. She had no idea that 6 months after she launched her course, that my little boy Luca, that's him when he was younger, was born with severe eczema. Really bad, all over his body. And we went to doctor after doctor and tried a million different things. And it's a really hard thing because it's not external. You think it is. It's so internal. And my wife stopped eating 10 different things, and so many things we're doing. What Jamie didn't know, when she was nervous about selling and who would buy from me, and I'm not a doctor, and was an inch away from never doing it, that I came home one day, no exaggeration, my wife found Jamie's course, didn't ask for it for free. She put her credit card in and bought it. My wife went through that entire course at our kitchen table. That's my wife and my little boy sleeping on her shoulder. She went through the entire thing. And she found 3 or 4 things that she said, no doctor taught me this. And all the doctors who went to, I didn't learn it. I learned it from Jamie. And I have to tell you, he's not completely cured, but this is my little boy now. He's older now. Look at that little guy. Is he amazing or what? Jamie helped our eczema so much with what she shared because she found her dot. And she overcame the fear of selling, and she served my little boy. So I want to tell you, I can get emotional thinking about that little guy. I love him so much. But what if today was the day you realized that selling is not about this icky thing? Selling is service. Jamie did a service for my wife and I. She did a service for my little boy, Luca. And when we feel that and we know it, and that woman who's helping women through the 4th trimester, I want her to have thousands of women in her program on her Zoom call every weekend. I want the person that's helping somebody get through a bad relationship or helping the kids with divorce or helping someone sell better, eat better, cut hair better. 4,700 different niches, dots, I should say, 4,700 different dots Tony and I have identified with our students over the last 3 years. 4,700 different dots. Thousands of courses sold by people saying, I have something, and I'm going to serve others by getting it in their hands. Yeah, Gail, it makes me want to cry too. And I just want to tell you, if you think you don't have something, you're wrong. You have something, but then we have to sell it. Okay, so now that I'm about ready to cry and emotional thinking about my son, he's such a cutie. I left him this morning. He loves his dad. Can I just say I'm sorry to all moms? My wife does everything. My wife is the greatest mother in the history of the world. You might get mad at me at this. My boy's 13 months. I've changed 2 diapers. She's old school. She's old school. I go to try to change a diaper. She grabs him and says, baby, I got that. I don't argue with her. I'm just going to be honest, right? She is a badass. She's a great mom. She's a businesswoman. She takes care of me, thank God. And my son loves me way more. Like, it is absolutely not fair. She does everything all day, and I come home, my son's like, Dad, right? So this morning he was pulling on me, and he's just so cute. Anyway, so I digress. So just drop in the chat. If you feel better about selling. Now I'm going to get tactical and strategic on how to sell, but I had to get you in the right mindset first. Could you be honest with me right now in all the different chats? Who feels better about selling right now? In fact, who is excited about selling? If you're excited about selling or think you can get better, let me know in the chat. Look at the chat blowing up. I want to give you permission. Listen, can I give you one more bit of permission? If you want to make a ton of money and give it all away, do it. Do it. It feels amazing to help others, to support causes, to retire parents, to donate money to charity, to build a church, to free someone in slavery, provide meals. You get to decide what you do with it. Get yourself secure first, though. Here's what I'll tell you. You want to change the world? Put your oxygen mask on first. Get your inside right. The one thing I know about success for me is that I never counted on is when I got money out of the way, I got to work on me, and I became a better human. I became a better father, and I became a better husband. I got to work on the things that were a little flawed in me from my childhood because I didn't stress about money. And when I got that out of the way and then married the love of my life and my family's dialed in, now I can contribute and do things for the world. Put your oxygen mask on first. Get stable, and then do whatever you want. Change the world. Help your family. That's where we go, right? Okay, so you guys ready for my biggest secret of all time? You guys ready for this? I mean it. This is the one. This is the one that I'm telling you, you got to promise me that you're going to use this for good. And you're going to double down on the caring, double down on the service, double down on the quality, and then use this. Okay, there's 3 steps. When I looked, I'm just going to share. I've had high-level masterminds, really high level, 6-figure masterminds, right? And when someone pays you that much, you not only want to show them what to do, you kind of got to give them the context, the framework, and the breakdown. Does that make sense? If I'm going to share with you how to be better on selling, I can't just say, live in your heart. That's a big part of it, because if you feel bad about selling, you'll never sell. You'll go to sell, you'll get embarrassed, and you'll back up. You'll physically back up or you'll mentally back up. Your confidence will drop. Nobody will buy anything from you, right? So I have to get you in the mindset, but then I got to give tactics. So I'm going to teach selling. And I looked back over 25 years of videos and trainings, and I looked at my best videos. And I said, what do they have in common? What made that video get 200 million views online? Or what made that infomercial run for 18 months straight? Yes, I know infomercials are a little cheesy, but you gotta remember I started 20-something years ago. There was no internet. Come on, guys. Like, people say to me, why were you and Tony on infomercials? It's like, what else were we gonna do? Like, there was nothing. There wasn't even MySpace. Maybe AOL Messenger was just starting, and it would take 5 hours to download a 1-minute video. That's just real, so there was infomercials. That's why I did them. But I looked back at all of them, and I said, what do they have in common? And I'm good at looking back. I'd love to say I figured this out when I was 28 years old. I didn't. I got lucky sometimes. And then now I get to reverse engineer it. And you get the benefit of that today. Now, of course, I can only go this deep, and there's way deeper to go, but you're going to get this. And these 3 things that I want you to write down are hook, story, irresistible offer. Hook, story, irresistible offer. Put that in the chat. Write it in your notes. These 3 topics will change everything. Hook, story, irresistible offer. Okay. Now, I want you to know something. If you don't want to start with video, that's okay. Maybe you want to write a letter, or you want to do a video that's not you on video. It's more of like a Camtasia, like you show screens and you talk. This strategy works for if you're writing copy, talking copy, selling on the phone, writing a headline, or doing a video. Today's world, video is so, video is everything. And here's the cool part. People don't want you to be perfect on video. They just want you. They just want the real, authentic version of you. Remember what Trent said yesterday? There's people just for you. There's a magnet in you to certain people. Tony and I share the same things. Brendan and I share the same things. Jenna and I share some of the same things. Shalene Johnson and I share. We do a lot of the same stuff, but I have my swimming lane and they have theirs, and I have a magnet to some of you, and some of you might like learning from Tony or someone else better. That's okay. But you'll find those that want to learn from you, whether you're quirky, high energy, kind of mellow. It's just got to be you. Can we all agree on that? Okay, hook, story, irresistible offer. So what is the hook? Hook sounds like a cheesy marketing term, but it's okay. I don't care. You'll remember it, because what a hook is, to me, is a stop sign. It's a grabber. The hook gets people to stop. You see, we're going to go to story next in a moment. Everybody, most people are really good on video telling their story, and they should. But if you start with your story, most people will never stop and listen to it. The hook is that thing that you watch. It's like there's a sea of people in red shirts, and you're the only one in a black shirt. Like, oh, what? I'm going to stop on that. You know, this is the new thing, right? People scroll 100 miles an hour. Why do they go, oh, and they stop to listen to you? That is the hook. And for me, it's always been the words that you say, right? How do you say the first sentence to make people go, whoa, okay, what you got? That's how I look at it. You have a good hook. I guess this is my, what you got, right? I've never actually done that, but now it sounds silly. But you want to be able to live, write this down, live inside the mind of your prospect. 2 things. What are their biggest fears? What are their biggest goals? My wife, for Jamie, my wife's biggest fear is that my boy Luca will keep having eczema. What was her biggest goal? Is to stop it naturally. She doesn't want to do steroids, right? Pretty easy. How would you like to learn how to naturally heal your child of eczema? Like, that's a stop, that's a grabber for your dot. You're not trying to say something for the whole world. That's why we went through the dot first. It's not 7 billion people, it's not 100 billion people. You know, it goes all the way down to your dot and you talk to them. Here's the cool part. Who are we usually talking to? I said it yesterday. We're usually talking to us of 2 years ago. That's right, Lauren Taylor. I see you pointing, right? All you're really doing is having a conversation with you of 2 years ago, of 5 years ago, of 7 years ago. What would you have said, one sentence, to yourself a couple of years ago? In fact, if we go back to this 20-year-old version of ourselves, right? Think about that. Think about your 20-year-old self is sitting on a park bench. You worked 2 weeks to create them the blueprint for the most amazing life in the world. And you walk up to your 20-year-old self, and you got an hour, or you hope. Would you walk up and go, hey, how you doing? I want to let you know, I've been in business for 42 years. I live in Arkansas, and I do this. And they'd be like, excuse me, I got to go, right? And then you tackle yourself and hog-tie yourself to the bench and say, all right, you're listening, right? But what else could you say to your 20-year-old self? Could you walk up and say, and this is extreme, you get a divorce at 32 years old. I'm going to tell you the 3 reasons why that'll never happen to you. Or you get stuck in a job that everybody thinks you should be happy for, but you hate it internally, and you're there for 18 years. I'm going to tell you how that never happens. Do you think that 20-year-old self would keep their ass in the seat and listen? Now, that's an extreme. But that's what a hook is. A hook is the first sentence that makes you go, okay, I'm going to listen. I'm going to tell you a quick little example. True story. I had the chance to do an infomercial with Larry King, and it was like amazing. If you don't know Larry King, he's just interviewed every single person. I think his first interview was Jesus, and he's interviewed every famous person since then, right? Like, I'm exaggerating, of course. But Larry was around for, like, interviewed people for 60-something years. Like every president, Lady Gaga, Prince, Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, everybody you could think of, right? I get a chance to do an infomercial with him. I'm so excited. What do? I forget everything I learned. I just look at all his old interviews. And he started out with, tonight, I'm Larry King. I'm interviewing so-and-so. They wrote this book, or they're doing this movie, and tonight we get to talk to them. So I'm like, I'm going to be cool. I'm going to do the same intro like they did for Prince and Madonna and Ronald Reagan and Bill Clinton and Barack Obama. I'm just going to get that same interview. And I write that first sentence, and we do an infomercial together, and it bombs. It just bombs. Absolutely tanks. And I'm like, what the heck? I got Larry King, and I'm trying, adjusting, and I'm like, what? How did this thing fail? And I look at it, and I realize, I'm like, duh. I forgot about the hook. I'm not Prince. I'm not Lady Gaga. I'm not Ronald Reagan. I'm Dean Graziosi. And we started the infomercial with this. Tonight, on Larry King, I'm here with Dean Graziosi. He's a multiple New York Times bestselling author. He's started 13 businesses, and we're here to talk about his new book. Guess what? No one gives a crap about Dean Graziosi and his 13 businesses and his book. What does it mean to them? I looked at it, I'm like, duh. I was floating my own ego. I want to get to my story and how I was broke and I changed my habits and I fulfilled my life. I want all that. But if nobody's there and they don't listen to me, I never get to tell my story. So you want to know this? Here's the cool part. The show didn't work. It was a bomb. I asked Larry to fly back into Phoenix. We sit in the studio like this, and I wrote a new open for him. The first open was, tonight on Larry King, I'm here with Dean Graziosi, multiple New York Times bestselling author. He's done this, done that, done this, and we're going to talk about his new book. Only thing I changed was the first sentence. And then Larry King came on the set, on the screen, when the show went on, when the infomercial went on, he said, have you ever in your adult life looked in the mirror and thought to yourself, wow, I thought I'd be further ahead by now. Huh. If you have, you're not alone. Tonight, I'm here with Dean Graziosi. Did you guys feel that different than the first one? It's the only thing we change. You want me to tell you how important it is? I see you smiling, Rachel. You know how important it is? And Giselle? We didn't change the book. I didn't change the price of the book. We changed the cover of the book. I didn't change the inside pages. I didn't change anything. All we changed was that first sentence, and that show went on to be a monster hit. Because I didn't follow the rule. I didn't create the stopper, the grabber. And here's the thing, it's not that difficult. You just need to figure out what you would say to your 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 7-year-old self. What would be that first sentence living inside your old mind or the mind of your prospect? What would be a sentence to go, okay, I'm listening. You guys get that? Grab someone's heart. There you go. Harold, it was damn good. You're right. Okay, next is the story. This is the part that's kind of easy. This is the part that's easy, is the story. Because we're all good at that, right? The story it's kind of your origin story. And now, I want you to remember this, and please write this down. I hope you're literally feeling this. This isn't something I'm guessing on, guys. Of course, we do trainings that are way deeper, but you're getting the foundation of it right now. With your story, I want you to think of it more of a scene of your life, not a story. Right? If I'm teaching people how to invest in real estate, I'm going to tell the story of my first couple of real estate deals that I did with no money down. That's going to show my origin story on how I know how to do real estate. If I'm teaching people how to write a book, I would talk about my book. If I was teaching people how to do a child-centered divorce, because that's what happened in my life, how to be in love right now at a level I never imagined, I would tell the story that's based around that, right? If Jamie was here, her story would be, what's her story? It's not when I was young, my parents got divorced, and then I did this. No, her story is simply a scene out of her life. My son had eczema. I obsessed on a way to cure it naturally. I found it. These are the results I have. I want to share them with you. I went through a bad breakup. I lost myself. I didn't find true love or self-love. I went through this process. I found self-love. I'm on fire. I love myself now more than ever. That's what I want to do for you. I was in 4th trimester. I had a baby. I felt ugly. I felt like no one loved me anymore. I felt like I lost my soul. But then I went through these 7 different steps in my life. And now I'm on fire. I feel fulfilled, and I love helping other people. Do you see? It's not the whole story of your life. It's the scene that sets up what you're offering in that moment. Make sense? And then in that story, here's the thing. Robin, thank you for saying this is genius, but you guys already talk about this, right? The story, you get to tell your story if you use the hook to stop them. Because this is the way I look at it. Ready? I did this impression. Okay, you got me. I'm listening. Then you tell the story, and I feel like their arms start to go down, like, oh, Stefan, he went through this. Huh. He was broke trying to figure out what to do during COVID. Wow, and he's doing that from home? Okay, I'm interested. What you got? Okay, now you know the origin story. What would be your next emotion? And if you're natural, if you're human, you're like, yeah, but, right? Yeah, but I don't think it could be could I naturally cure that? Could I really do that from home? Could I really lose the weight? Because people have limiting beliefs. Did we bust some limiting beliefs over the last 2 days with you guys? Right? You need to think of, why did you question before you lost the weight, before you mastered trimester 4, before you did the artwork, before you started the business, before you fixed the relationship, before you found self-love? What would you have questioned? Just answer those in advance. Bust the myths because they're not true. They are myths. They're false beliefs. False beliefs have already cost you too much. If you've been thinking about being a part of the digital economy, thinking about being in this industry and you haven't, I guarantee the thing that's been in your way is a false belief on why it wouldn't work for you. Can we all agree on that? Right? If you've missed opportunities in the past, you knew you wanted to do it and the train went down the tracks and you missed it, or like the surfer where the wave went underneath you and you're trying to paddle when it's too late, I guarantee it was because of a belief that you had about the circumstance. So if you know beliefs are that powerful, and you know maybe you used to have them, then in your story, you not only tell your origin story and how you evolved and you went through it, the chained elephant, exactly, Wayne, but you also say, hey, and here's what I love about being transparent. I know you might be thinking, you're not going to be able to get to your ideal weight in the next 90 days. Oh, man, I felt exactly the same way before I lost the weight. I know you're thinking it's impossible to get love back in your life. I know what you're feeling. I went through that for 3 years thinking about how I was going to leave the relationship every day. But, right, it's not this thing that we have to know so perfectly. It's about being transparent. And when you love what you're doing, when you know you're doing a person a service by getting them to say yes, then it's easy to overcome those obstacles. And then the last part about the story is you could share social proof, meaning if you help someone else, they could share about it. Did we share a lot of people over the last couple days, right? And if you don't, my first real estate infomercial, I didn't have one testimonial. I'd never taught anybody what I did. You know what I did? I just talked about like 5 deals that I did. Hey, I want to tell you, let me show you. And I went and filmed in the front yard. I'm like, I bought that house with no money down. Let me tell you how I did it. Because I didn't have any success stories yet, but I made the success. So the hook stops people, right? It's the stopper, it's the grabber, it's the stop sign, it's the uniqueness, okay. And then what does the story do? The story makes them go, oh, wow. Laura Rodriguez, she has been through this. Wow, and she does have a great smile. She's happy after going through all that. Okay, but I don't know if I could be happy. Oh, she just busted that myth that she didn't think she could be happy. Oops, she's got me there. Oh, does it really work? Oh my God, she just gave me an example of where she is now in her relationship. Damn, I feel amazing. All of a sudden, now someone's like, okay, what's the next thing you say? What do you got? Right? The next is, okay, what do you got for me? You stopped me. I believe you. I see you've been through this journey. What do you got? So the next thing would be your irresistible offer. Now, here's the cool part. And I want you to write this down and think about it, because some of you are thinking, oh, this is way advanced. Some of you are like, this is good. Let me know if you feel is this landing with you guys right now? Let me know in the chat, because here's what I want you to think about. This is like an accordion. You could do this over 5 days in a challenge. You could do it in a 3-hour presentation. You could do it in a 90-minute webinar style. I've done it in 5 minutes. It's the same. If I got 5 minutes, I might go, hey, you see this house behind me? This is the house I grew up in. I've come a long way. I did that as an ad once. That was the hook. The story is, yes, I lived in that, and I watched my dad struggle because he had the wrong habits. I found successful people in my life, and I got new habits, and it shifted my life. There's my story. And I went into the call to action. If you want to click the link below, you can grab my book. I'll show you all the secrets I learned. Was that a hook story close? Hook story, compelling offer? Irresistible offer, right? I did it in 60 seconds. So this whole model is an accordion. And if you have never been on video before, I promise you just this model alone, people will be compelled just by being you, because it's your story. You're talking to who you used to be in most cases, or who you'd like to be, or the person that you've been studying. But before we get to the irresistible offer, I'm going to give you a secret that will change your life forever. And that is to put a bridge, let's call it a bridge, between your story and the offer. Okay? Because sometimes we get in our head and we start thinking, oh my God, I told all this, okay, now I got to sell my product. Now I got to tell them to click the button and buy my thing. Oh, and you get nervous and you get in your head and you become a different person. If you ever watch somebody on stage that are on fire, like this amazing woman at this woman's event, talking about helping this mom and transforming her life, and I said, what about selling? She was like, oh, wah, wah, wah. Her energy went down. So the bridge is the thing that can say, time to ramp my energy up, because when we sell, we do what? We serve. You haven't done the transformation for the person until you get their credit card. I'm just being honest. Even this 5-day challenge, it's amazing, but there's more. There's more. And if we don't get you to continue, then this, at the end of the 5 days, will be the end of it. You're like, I had fun with Tony and Dean, all those great guests. What do I do next? Right? So we must serve. So the bridge is just anything that can allow your brain to snap and go, it's time to ramp up my confidence, ramp up my energy. So it could be something like, hey, I've had fun sharing with you for the last 30 minutes, the last 60 minutes. But it's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more I'd love to share with you. In fact, I just spent the last 6 months, year, building this training or setting up this course to do this live thing over the weekend or a workshop or this, that, and the other thing, and I can't wait to share it with you right now. Right? That's just a little bridge to go from the story to it's time to get you to engage, to buy my course so I can shift your life. Does that make sense? So that bridge, oh yeah, it's time to serve. If you look at it through that lens, it's time to serve. I don't want to miss anything on my notes. So now we get to the irresistible offer. Now, when it's time for an irresistible offer, it's also called a CTA, a call to action, or it's the close. You're closing someone to take an action. And you can't get to impact their life unless they take the action. But this is another part. The story in the middle is what most of you will get right out of the gate. The hook, you really want to think through. The call to action, you want to do the same thing. You want to make sure in a call to action, there's some things that you need to do to make a call to action work. So let's go through it. First off, in today's shifting world, really, create an irresistible offer. Put more in the course than you thought you should. Deliver more value than you think you should. Light people up, give them more love, give them more product, over-deliver, make it ridiculous. Like, make it so ridiculous people feel like they're screwing you over when they got your product. Does that make sense? Like, oh my God, they did all that work and it's only for this? Okay, I'm in. But secondly, create what's needed for them to succeed. Now, I want to give you 4 things. I want to give you 4 things right now. And this is 60 years with Tony and I to figure these things out. To be successful, and this is not where I started, this is not where you're going to start. I'm just going to tell you in life, to be successful in anything, you need 4 things. You need immersion, right? We have to immerse ourselves into things, right? We can't dabble. Can we all agree that dabbling never got us anywhere? We have to immerse in it. The second thing we have to do is repetition. Has anybody ever taken a language in school? Kind of immersed yourself in the language, but then you didn't practice it and you have no idea how to speak any of it except like order a beer and go to the bathroom, right? Like, it's because you didn't have the spaced repetition. I see you laughing, Mary, right? Like, you learned it, you immersed yourself, but then you didn't practice, it went away. I did that. I studied for like a month straight to go see my family in Italy. I went there, I talked to them, it was amazing. I came home like, I speak Italian. And 6 months later, I'm like, I don't know one word. Oh, like, because I didn't have the repetition. So you need immersion. You need repetition. The third thing you need is implementation. You have to help people take the action. Let me ask you a question. If you're all honest, let me know in the chat. Who's ever bought a course you were excited about? They had the immersion, maybe even some repetition, but you never implemented it. If you're really honest. Okay? That's the majority of everybody, right? You got excited, but then maybe you didn't know, what's the next piece that I do? How do I make it real? And you go, you know what? Catherine, I see you shaking your head. You go, you know, I'll do this next week. Let me do it next week. And a year later, you're online looking for the next course because you didn't implement. So, and the last part is if you have the immersion, you do the repetition, you implement, when you do it long enough and you surround yourself with the right people, what does it become? Mastery, right? So, but I want to let you know, when I look back at Motor Millions, my first course, it had implementation. I mean, it had immersion. It was an immersive course. People had success all around the country. You start with one. And as you grow, you have the opportunity to say, oh, I got the course for them. Let me give them some extra so they get the repetition. Or let me give them an assignment. Or let me give them this thing where they can go take action today. Because never leave the scene of learning without taking an action, because then you get momentum moving forward, right? And if we do it long enough, it becomes mastery. Now, a couple more things on this is it's got to be value-based. Okay, when you describe it, if I'm going to do a course on, you know, how to, we had an amazing woman yesterday, how to do a garden, a home garden, right? You could list off all the things. I'm going to teach you how to plant. I'm going to teach you how to get the soil good, how to not do this, how to know how much sun and what seeds grow in the spring and which in midsummer. I mean, you could have a laundry list of all the things you do, right? Module 1 could have 500 things in it. And what does it do sometimes? It overwhelms people. Speak in terms of the benefit or the outcome. Write that down. Stephanie, that's right, the plant lady, Stephanie. Think of the outcome, not the options. Let me give you a little example. If I was trying to sell you a car, I could say, hey, this car has air conditioning. This is cool. It's got this compressor that's hooked to the engine and it spins. And that compressor goes to this little pump. And in that pump is Freon. And that Freon gets pushed through aluminum tubes. And then they get to aluminum tubes with fins on it. And then the fan is behind the fins. It blows on the fins. And then cold air comes out of these vents. Or I could simply say, hey, when you get air conditioned, when it's hot outside, it's cold in the car. Right? Tammy, stop laughing at me, but is it true? Sometimes people ask us what time it is and we tell them how the watch was made, right? You don't have to give them the whole laundry list. What is the outcome, right? It's value-based thinking. With Stephanie, the plant lady, she could say all the things she's going to teach, or she could say, when you're done with module 1, be the first time in your life people will call you and say you have a green thumb because all your stuff will grow magically. Even though there's 500 amazing things in there that Stephanie created, they just want the end result. Make sense? Did you ever get to an offer and like, I got this, and you get this, and you get this? It's like the Ginsu knife commercial of 15 years ago. It's like, how many more knives do I need? Right? It's too much. Then you want to add 2 more things. I know I'm doing a lot here. I'm going fast. 2 more things. 1 is risk reversal. Always offer a guarantee. If you don't serve people at the highest level, then you should gladly give them their money back. Make it so there's no risk. You either serve them or you don't, and you learn how to serve them better. And then the last thing is create real urgency. Create real urgency in your life, in your product. Not in your life, in your product. Create real urgency, meaning if you have it's only going to be a certain price for a certain time, if that's real, let them know. Because people will procrastinate. They want it. They're excited. They go, oh, maybe later. And then they forget and they move on to the next thing and you get to serve them. So find urgency in the moment. If it's a special price for a week, amazing. If there's a special bonus for that week, amazing. But don't ever pretend this price is going away and then let them see it a month later. It's the same price, the same offer. That's not cool. And you just ruin your reputation, right? Make sense? Create real urgency. And sometimes urgency doesn't have to be price or product. It just simply be, if you don't get this now, what's going to be different with your health in a year from now? What's going to be different with your relationship, with your job, with your career, with your life? Create real urgency, because sometimes we got to nudge people to action. People have already missed too many opportunities, so we nudge them to action. All right, you guys feeling this? Tell me if the plane's landing. Let me know in the chat if the plane's landing. Raise your hand if you're a little overwhelmed. Not bad. A couple of hands. But does this make sense? Who in here, raise your hand if you feel different about selling right now than you've ever felt in your life. That's what I want to see. Raise your hand if you never raise your hand. Say yes. If you never, I'm just kidding. All right, guys. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull back the curtain. And I'm going to show you this in real time. I'm going to show you what this looks like in real life, on what Tony and I have been obsessing and working on now for 9 months. Tony and I have been working on something to help every single one of you in this shifting world. The world's completely different. The world, not only is the economy shifting, we're going from in-person to virtual. We're going from colleges to self-education. This wave is happening. This wave is real. And Tony and I have been obsessing on it for 3 years now. But the last year, with the shifts in COVID and where things are going, we knew we had to step up our game and create something really magical, because we want to make it so everybody here, that at the end of this 5 days, it's not the end. It is the beginning. We wanted to create what's next. And in real time, I want to show you how this all comes together. I want to show you how to get aha moments that are going to blow your mind. I said this yesterday or the day before, and I want you to hear this. As I'm sharing this with you, I want you to look through 2 lenses. 1, how this benefits you. How you can gain capabilities. How Tony and I condensed 60 years of being in this industry. We've condensed decades into a short way for you to learn and expedite your learning curve and avoid the mistakes and not feel left behind and to truly own your future in this shifting world. But I also want you to see how we do it. how we present it. I just pulled back the curtain to show you my mindset for selling and then how we sell it. And now I'm going to reveal something. You're like, wow, that is how he's doing it. Okay? So I want you to think about this. Whether you are the person who just stopped by because someone recommended and you weren't sure why you were here, I promise you this is for you. If you've tried this, been thinking about this industry, maybe tried and failed, I promise this is for you. And if you're here because you're already in the industry, this is one of those rare things that this is for you. So I want you to think about why, first off, before we start, why did you sign up for this? Why are you here today on your third day? Really, why are you here? For Tony, of course, I'd do anything Tony did, for clarity, to learn, to grow, to change. But is it a little deeper? Do you want to be more in control of your time? Do you want to make sure if the world shifts again that you got this, that your family can count on you, that you can finally unlock your creativity, show the world what you're made of? Like, stop playing small. Like, I don't know, we all got our, oh my God, service to others, incredible. We all know that we're dying to do more for the world, right? Tired of playing small? We all have our own reasons. For me, I never wanted to go backwards. I don't want to be, I hated watching my parents struggle. I wanted to be in control of my time. My parents were never in control of their time. We all need to know why we're here so we can really anchor that in. And I want you to remember that for the next 3 days, too. As you go, oh, should I go to day 5? Yes, you should. Should I go to day 4? Yes, you should. Because there's a deeper why in your soul. You're not just here to be entertained. You're here to gain capabilities. Capabilities that work so you can put them in play, take uncomfortable action, and move forward. But let's back up a little bit. We created what was next. We created something, and I'm going to reveal it here in a moment, called Project Next. And we're so damn excited. And we can't wait to unveil this to you guys. But I want you to look through this lens of transparency. Let's go back to the hook, okay? Let me ask you something. Who here, if you, at the end of a long, amazing life, if you had the opportunity to impact a lot of lives or create success and abundance that you absolutely love, impact or abundance, which one would you choose? Impact. Why choose when you can have both? Why choose when you can have both? That's the knowledge industry. I see you, Rachel. I see you, Charlotte and Tammy and Jackie and Meryl. Why choose when you have both? What was that? That's a hook. If you were scrolling through and you saw me say, would you rather have this or this? Why choose when you have both? Wouldn't you go, okay, what you got? You kind of did. You're here. Right? I see you, Milani. Right? You're here. It wasn't super hard, but I want to share that with you. Okay, let's go to our story. I talked about our origin story. Did you get the story of my true reason why self-education is so important to me? I told you the story of I was working hard and Tony sold me something, changed my life. I told you about Motor Millions and I created this course. I felt like a fraud and an imposter, and then I narrowed it down and I got the confidence back and didn't listen to family, didn't listen to friends. I borrowed the money and I did it. I wouldn't be here if I didn't do it. That's not a made-up story. That is my true origin story, so you guys know why I'm so passionate, why I work so hard to put 1 million people and work with Tony and all these incredible speakers. You know my origin story. You guys feel it? You saw the social proof of regular people, thousands of courses sold by regular people doing the craziest things ever. Is that true? That was me telling the story. Remember I said it's an accordion. It could be 5 minutes, could be over 5 days. I hope I showed you why the knowledge industry, the self-education, why this industry, and why now. Can we agree this is the time to jump in? Is that very clear? Did you agree that the dot, that we could all find the dot, and there's people that want the dot? So if that's the case, if you're ready to jump in, and you're ready to make this real in your life, then that's why Tony and I have obsessed to create Project Next. Because the last thing is the irresistible offer. And I want to go through our irresistible offer. I'm going to pull back the curtain. This is what we're offering you right now to continue working with us. Well, simultaneously, I want you to see that both I want every single person engaged. The way I feel is if I don't share this with you in the right way and don't get you guys to continue this with us, I did you a disservice. Well, secondly, you can see the pieces that you can use when you do this. Do you understand? Do you see the value of both and why we're training in the way we do? But let's go through this. I said something before. Can you pull up these slides, Mike? And then right before this, I would typically do a bridge, which is true. I could say, what we're sharing in this challenge is amazing. I hope we rock your world. But it truly is the tip of the iceberg. We shared the DOT process in 5 minutes, but you got to know that Tony and I go so deep on that we get crystal clear clarity, right? All those things. But I said you needed 4 things to be successful, and it's true. And you can evolve by doing one as you go, But Tony and I have been in this 60 years. The world has shifted. We wanted to make sure that we covered immersion and repetition and implementation and mastery, something we've never done before, and this is what we created, Project Next. I told you I wanted to create an irresistible offer. I want you to see this. In the first part is the immersion. The immersion part is the digital product system. This is a brand new course, brand new from ground up. Tony and I reshot and shot and filmed and took all of our years of 60 years experience, 3 years of obsessing in this industry, 2 years of offering this amazing course called KBB, and we created something totally new, one that helps you with digital products, masterminds, workshops, everything we covered. In fact, I'll go through these modules really fast. And again, not like a laundry list. In Module 1, Becoming Unstoppable with Tony and Dean. If you thought day 1 of the challenge was good, wait till you see this brand new section of a course to get your mind in the right place. Tony's shooting things he's never filmed anyplace else to get you to be unstoppable. Remember I told you it's the headlights, or the air condition, I should say. When you're done with this module, you know for a fact there'll be nothing that will get in your way from moving forward. In Module 2, who to sell, or what to sell and who to sell it to. We had so much fun with the DOT, but again, the DOT I did in 20 minutes. It's deeper, more questions. Tony and I created a methodical process that you'll know exactly what you're teaching, and then exactly who to go after. We call it your ideal client avatar. You'll know exactly who you're looking for, and then exactly how to share it. That's what you'll feel at the end of Module 2. Module 3, how to market through service. That's what we're doing today. Who feels like marketing is service when you're done today? Give me an amen or a heck yes, right? It's service. Like, I hope you could tell my enthusiasm. I've been working on this night and day with the team, with Tony, for literally 9 months. For the last 60 days, we haven't slept. All new filming in here, filming all over, putting this together. I'm not like, oh, I got to offer this. Like, oh my God, you can't believe what we created. I want you to have that same enthusiasm, because that's how you get to change and impact people's lives, right? In this How to Market Your Message, this is my gig. This is all my module. I go so deep on the wide, well, how to market, but I go all the way to the tactical and give you the examples of how to do it, whether that's on Facebook Live or you're sending an email or any little piece that you need, we've modeled and created. In Module 4, it's finding your perfect clients through social media. Listen, social media has used you long enough. We're going to show you a process where you can use it to identify your ideal clients and find out where they live and drive them to your offer, to your workshop, to your mastermind, to your training, to your platform on mastermind.com, right? We're going to show you how to find them, and I even teach you how to do this challenge model that you're a part of, except an accordion. So many of our students do it in a Facebook group with 50, 100, 500 people. You learn all of that. And in Module 4, I just want to tell you what Tony did. There is a 2-hour, yes, 2-hour bonus masterclass from Tony, because he wanted to train on something he's never trained publicly ever before that he felt people needed. We filmed it right here for 2 hours. It is, when he filmed it, I literally took 20 pages of notes. It is absolutely magical. Literally, you can't find it any other place on the internet. That's just one of his pieces. Module 4 alone is priceless. And again, you learn how to do YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, social media, emails like never before. In Module 5, again, wanted to create something irresistible. In Module 5, how to sell like a pro and feel good doing it. This isn't marketing. This is a sales process. This is how to elegantly sell where you feel good, whether that's on the phone, on video, or writing a script. When you're done with that module, you will sell better than anyone on the planet. and love doing it. And the last module is how to deliver it in today's world, teaching you how to do either a course, how to do a workshop, how to do a mastermind, how to do coaching. All of those are tied underneath, and then the different delivery systems. This is truly the greatest thing we've ever put together, and if I don't express it well enough as we share this today, then I'm doing you a massive disservice, and that's how I feel. As I share this, I'm like, I can't even, I want to go through the 100 things in each piece that are elegant and not overwhelming and show you how to do it. If you liked our 4 days, this is going to freak you out. But I'm doing my best to stay calm. And we were, when we go to price this, Tony's got his platinum members who are the most amazing group on the planet. It's $85,000 for 3 times a year. And there's a waiting list, and they're the greatest people in the world, but I just want to show you the value of what we put in here and what people pay. I get paid over $200,000 for 90 minutes on stage. I feel blessed to be able to say that. And we condensed our decades into days and built the digital product system. This isn't an upgrade to KBB. This is a brand new course for today's world so you can own your future, own your time, be a part of this wave, and don't miss it. Now, we put a price at $5,000 as a value. That's not what we're charging. But when you think of our time and the effort and the energy, I think we could put this at $50,000 legit. But that's just the start. Okay, that was the immersion. So DPS, Digital Product System, if you want to write this down or just to model it in the future, that's the immersive program. I suggest when you get in it, dig in, set the time, and go through it. But then we know you need the repetition. And this is something we kind of robbed from Jenna Kutcher, which is a true story. She did this a couple years ago, and we watched her girls just rock the house. So after you get the course, we're going to spend 8 weeks together with a live masterclass with myself, Tony, Jenna, Pete Vargas, Russell Brunson, other special guests, each week to walk you through the different modules to make sure you're not left behind, so you get your questions answered, so you keep moving forward. So this isn't one of those courses that you buy and then I bought another course. This is the last course we ever want you to buy, and we want you to do it in 8 weeks or less. We put $2,000 value on that because we've sold masterclass and coaching like that for way more. That's real money, $7,000. Okay, that was the repetition. So we had the immersion and repetition. Now we have the implementation. The implementation is something that most all things miss. It's like you get excited, I'm in the right space, I know my dot, I know who wants my dot, I know how to sell my dot, but what do I do next? And we started and we spent, this is a true story, we spent $1 million to create a software to help people implement. And I want to be honest, we threw it away. We stopped using it because software is really easy to get complicated. And we started over, and we worked with Russell Brunson and other great people, and we started over and spent more money and time, and we created absolute magic. We created the ultimate implementation tool. Everybody that you saw yesterday when you saw their sheets, they were on our platform at Mastermind, where you could get your course, your live training, your workshop up literally in 15 minutes. We took away all the complexity, and we want to give you free access to the implementation. In fact, Mike, do you have that video on Mastermind? Do you have that? It's like 60 seconds long. I want to share this with you because all of them started someplace. And remember I said as part of a call to action, you could share success stories? 60 seconds long. Play this. I'll be right back.
Just in a short few weeks, I was able to get 14 sales.
I've had 2 sales right out the gate. And those clients were amazing. They put me through to other people.
And I'm so happy that now I get to do what I love.
One of the main strengths, one of the main things that I love about Mastermind.com, the marketplace, was, just how rapidly I could try a new idea. Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins, these are the absolutely best entrepreneurs in the entire world right now. And they've built something very unique and special. I had spent the past 15 years trying to launch my business. I tried all sorts of different things. And past 15 years, I had made $0, literally $0 in all that time and effort. And within 4 hours of me going live with my Mastermind listing, I ended up making my first sale.
I went from knowing about Mastermind.com to launching a course on Mastermind.com in less than a week. I've seen a lot of success. I've seen life-changing success.
I put it up and I now have customers all around the world.
Because Mastermind.com let me do this live, that's exactly what I did. I love Tony and Dean as mentors. They are the best. I love this platform. I love this community. I am excited for what's coming next because I have so many ideas.
One thing I knew is that I didn't want it to be difficult anymore. I wanted things simpler. I wanted to do it and just feel like I can get it accomplished as an autism mom, as someone who's already has a profession, but who knew that there was just more for me. So I said yes.
I love that video, and I love the people who took uncomfortable action and got it up. That's our platform. That's what we created. That's what we spent 2.5 years perfecting to make the implementation tool. Yes, it's a software, but it's a tool that's easy. I hate tech. Tech drives me crazy. I'm 52. I didn't grow up with computers. So we wanted to make it simple. Now, I'm not saying you're going to get it up and get sales. All of them had sales. Some of them are our top sellers. Thousands of courses have sold on the platform. And we're not saying it's a magical money machine. You put up and do nothing, set it and forget it and make money. But we created the implementation tool, and we're going to give you 3 months free access to play with it, to figure out your dot, to create it, upload it, and get it available to the world. And then next, that is the implementation. And the last part, bring this up, the last part is the mastery. The Mastery is an event we're doing in August. It's called the Mastermind World Summit. Some of you were at our World Summit last year. We sold out with 8,000 people. We're making it a little bigger this year. Now, we're doing an amazing 5-day challenge, but our 3-day event is like 10-hour days, full immersion, full next level, because if you get enrolled today, go through the 8 weeks of training, get up on mastermind.com. By the time you come to the Mastermind World Summit, it's about going deeper and scaling this, going from selling a course to being in the knowledge industry. And that's where mastery comes into play. And here's the cool part. This is legit value, and in a time when the world needs it the most. So let me just share with you what we created to make this irresistible. We created the digital product system, all 6 modules. We created the 8-week live masterclass to keep you accountable and make sure it works. We created free access. You get free access to the implementation tool at mastermind.com. You get a ticket to the Mastermind World Summit, value at $8,600. And let me just share this with you. Last year we sold a course, which was amazing, an incredible course. It didn't have the 8 weeks live training. It didn't have mastermind.com. It definitely didn't have tickets to the World Summit. And we sold that course for $2,000. And we sold it to almost 40,000 people, and we rocked their worlds. We have over 6,000 pages. The books are printed out here of people that are excited and happy and have success and transformed their lives and sold courses. But this is a really crazy time in life, and we want to do something special. So, but first off, I mean, would it be worth $1,997? And you can let me know in the chat. Would it be worth $1,900, let's just say $2,000, if you finally got to enter the knowledge industry and sold what you know? Would it be worth $2,000 to work from home, impact lives, and create success for you and your family? Would it be worth $2,000 if you launched your first course or a weekend workshop or a blueprint in the next 30 to 60 days? Would it be worth it? And here's the cool part. This is a course that's like 2-in-1. For the beginner, those that just stop by or dabbling, it's a straight line course on how to get your course up and do this and solve every problem that we figured out over 60 years in the next 30 to 60 days. But we also built bonuses for those of you in the game that we taught people like Lewis Howes, who uses it, and Jenna Kutcher, and Russell Brunson, and Jamie Kern-Lima use these high-level strategies. So it's a 2-course-in-1. Why I said it works for everyone. And it's worth beyond $2,000. But we wanted to create something in these unprecedented times. So, and not $8,700. And $1,997, I think this course is worth $5,000. But when we said create something irresistible, before I share this with you, I want to say one thing. Tony called me 4 weeks ago and said, brother, if we're going to do 1 million people, let's light them up. Let's bring in the best people. Let's light this up. We said we were going to go an hour a day. Let's go 2 hours a day. Let's give them everything they need. And we talked about this course. And we love it. It's one of the greatest things we've ever created. And he said, how do we impact more people? Can we make it cheaper? Can we do something just for the week of the challenge to allow everyone to get in? We've never sold a course at this level, at this price, at $1,997. But today, you have the opportunity to get Project Next, all 4, the immersion, the repetition, the immersion, repetition, the implementation with mastermind.com, and the mastery, the tickets to the event. We've never included all four, and right now it's $997. And you're right, Kenneth, if I'm going to talk about the transparency of what I taught you, the urgency is that this truly is for the challenge only. This price, these bonuses, all these pieces we're doing for the challenge. These are unprecedented times, and we wanted to create an unprecedented opportunity for you. So what we're going to do here, I got to keep going. I got to keep going and show you all the elements of it. Is 30-day money-back guarantee. Remember, risk reversal? Do that with everything that you have. Yes, there's an unconditional 30-day money-back guarantee. And also, about 3 days ago, Jenna called us and said, there needs to be more stuff for the ladies. And she created a course, Unleashing Your Creativity, to help with social media and aesthetics and helping your creativity expand. She is the bomb. If you watch her online, it's beautiful what she does. She gets to be herself at the deepest level. And she decided to throw in an amazing course on how to do it. It's a complete course. So you get that as a challenge-only bonus. Here's the thing. Today, during this challenge, I hope you guys see the value. I hope I've explained this in a great way. I hope I taught you how to do a call to action. I hope I did a good call to action for you guys. Because if I let you down by not enrolling, I made a huge mistake. This is a challenge-only offer with challenge-only prices. And literally, you could go to bed tonight knowing that you gained and you have all the capabilities you need. Not another thing is needed. You have the course. You have the 8 weeks. We're going to hold your hand so you don't have to do it alone. You can get your course up on mastermind.com, and you can come to us in August at our 3-day event that sold out last year. These aren't inflated prices. These are the things we sold, and you have access to all of that. Jeremy snuck in here with some questions. I want to answer a couple questions. I know you got more, but I want to get Jamie Kern-Lima is coming up here soon. Are you guys excited about Jamie Kern-Lima? You better be. How she went from Denny's to $1.2 billion sale. That was a cash sale, by the way. Pretty cool. Shanika asked, is Project Next really for me? Okay, I see. No more. I see a lot of questions coming in. So a couple things when I say that is, first off, I said this earlier. Maybe you asked it before I said that. We built this course for the new person saying, I'm not even sure what this is, and a through line all the way through so you can be in this in 30 to 60 days like I shared. But I don't want to leave out what we did for our friends and people in the industry. So many people that know me know that, listen, we're doing right now the biggest challenge and the biggest online training in the history of the world. Do you want to know how you do that too? Right? So we wanted to create both for the brand new person, and then we stacked it with bonuses so nobody's left behind. It's got all 4 elements, which we've never done before. And how is this different than KBB? KBB is amazing. We love that course. This is completely different and completely new. It includes how to do digital. It includes the 8 weeks. It includes Mastermind. And it includes the tickets to the event as well. This will complement KBB in such a huge way. And since we're selling it at such a huge discount, it makes sense for everyone. Carlita asked, what if I don't have time? Yeah, time is just... I'm going to answer this quickly. If you don't have the time, that means you need this more than anyone, because what's going to buy you back that time? If we keep running on the treadmill, we don't get anywhere, right? We need to learn the capabilities. I'm so excited to light this up for you guys over these couple of days. And we got 2 more amazing days. But this is just the beginning. And I think Tony and I know a little bit about time management and prioritizing and focus. And you get all that, especially in Module 1. That's how we set the anchor. That's why we have 6,000 pages of happy and successful students, because we give you the mindset, because without it, nothing works. Then the capabilities, then the tools, the implementation, the immersion, the ongoing support, and the mastery at the event. I promise you, Carlita, you will make the time. Kevin asked, I suck with tech. Well, me too, Kevin. So that's why I think I probably got these questions too soon. We threw out, literally, our first software was amazing, but it just got too complicated for the group that we wanted to serve. So we went back to the laboratory with an amazing group of people, and mastermind.com is pure fire. It's the simplest thing on the planet. So I promise you, you won't have to worry about that. Patricia asked, Do I have to do this alone? I've gotten courses before and didn't finish. You know what? I think we got these way too early because I shared that and I'll share it again. That's why we included the 8 weeks. That's why we built the strongest community on the planet, and I forgot to talk about it. Those of you that are in our community right now, in our KBB community, if you're in a chat, let people know how amazing it is. This is a community of people serving people, thousands of people, 100-something thousand comments every single month. You go in there having a bad day, they'll cheer you up. You go in there and you discover something, you share it. I go live in there on a regular basis, surprise everybody with bonuses and trainings. It is truly a connected family where every week I do shout outs of successful people and every week they thank the community. It is absolutely the most legit community. I call it the greatest community online where you feel connected. Plus you get the 8 weeks where we're going to walk you through. Is this offer really just for the challenge? I hope you guys know me by now when I said, don't create false urgency. This isn't false urgency. That what we're putting together, what you have the opportunity to get during the challenge is because you took the time to be here. And this is a crazy time in the world. And we don't want anybody left behind. And we want people to have the capabilities to own their future. So this is challenge only pricing, challenge only bonuses. And here's what we're going to do. I got Jamie Kern Lima about to come out. I'm going to go grab a drink. I'm going to get with Jamie. I'm going to get her bio, and we're going to light this up. What we're going to do right now is take a quick 5-minute break. Don't go anywhere. Go to getprojectnext.com if you want to enroll. And if you enroll, come back after the break and let us know you're in, that you took that uncomfortable action, that you're gaining the capabilities to not be left behind, to own your future. And I promise you, tonight, if you start going through this, or when you do, I promise you, you're in for one of the greatest treats of your life. We're so excited to have you here. And we even created a 4-pay option. You could be learning this literally tonight for the first price of $299. So we're so excited. So go to getprojectnext.com, enroll. We'll be back in 5 minutes with Miss Jamie Kern Lima. See you in 5. What's up? Come on, let's bring the energy back up. Let's do it. You guys, you got enough energy for the rest of our guests? They flew a long way to be here with you. They're in the studio. We got to show them the love. All right, all right. Okay, you know what? I feel like when I go to introduce, first off, thank you for all the questions. I saw them coming in. I'm like, they're stacked in. I know so many people enrolled and you're excited. Listen, we have time. This is challenge only, but I'm so excited for those of you who made that uncomfortable action, and I can't wait, and Tony can't wait to serve you at the highest level. But right now, we're on to our next guest, and you better be prepared for this. And again, I kind of feel like I'm a little redundant because I introduce these people as like my best friends. And I've been to events where everybody's their best friend. Here's the crazy part. Everybody I get to introduce are like my best friends. We go on vacations together. We help each other with business. If I need something, I pick up the phone. If they need something, they pick up the phone. So it means so much to me that they did this, and I feel so blessed that they did this for not only me, they did it for you. These are people like Jamie that could get hundreds of thousands of dollars to speak on stage and says no to most of it. But she said yes to you guys. And I'm going to, I like to surprise who's coming, but I already let the cat out of the bag. So I want to read some of the amazing accomplishments because I would be doing her a disservice if I didn't. She is the author of the new book called Believe It. It is a New York Times bestseller. It is out there right now all over, and an incredible book. She is the founder of IT Cosmetics. You ladies know IT Cosmetics? Amazing. Not only is she the founder and creator, she sold it to L'Oreal for $1.2 billion in cash. How amazing is that? And she was at Denny's when she first started. In fact, she was at Denny's using her tip money to buy Personal Power with Tony Robbins. So we have a long history. IT Cosmetics now has over 1,000 employees and is the largest makeup brand in America. And I might not read this right, but I'm going to just say it from my heart. You know what's amazing too? In L'Oreal's history, they never had a woman CEO, and she wouldn't take the money unless she was the first CEO in L'Oreal's history. Can we just like give that up for her? Is that badass or what? She also has donated over $40 million in product and donations for helping people look good, feel better, and do whatever it takes to donate. The list goes on and on. She's one of Forbes' richest self-made women. I could go on and on with the list, but I'll just say this. Jamie is, you're going to love her. You're going to fall in love with her if you don't already know her, but the cool part of knowing someone behind the scenes who's had that much success, she's beyond humble. She beyond cares. She didn't need to write a book. She didn't need to push her book and spend 30 days every day on media to drive people and to sell her book to people. She just knew that other women were going to face times when they wanted to stop, where they'd feel like they couldn't go forward. And she wanted to empower women to be unstoppable. And she did that on a massive scale. She's here today to help you become unstoppable. She's a dear friend. My wife and I have fallen in love with her, and I'm so glad she's here, and I don't want to delay anymore. Can we please give it up for my dear friend, Jamie Kern Lima.
Thank you. Hi, guys. Hello, hello. Woo! So honored. So excited to be here. I'm overwhelmed and also just so excited. It's been really fun. I have actually been live online with all of you for the past 2 days, reading the chats, reading your stories, and just sharing this experience together with you. So super honored. And, you know, today in the few minutes we're going to share together, I'm going to talk about stepping into your purpose and about your knowing, right? About how do you hear your knowing and how do you truly become the person you're born to be. So I'm super excited to share a few stories and thoughts and ideas and just this time with you together. And you know, Dean just mentioned this, but yeah, it's super special today because before IT Cosmetics, before all the things, I was a Denny's waitress, and I loved my job. And I had this feeling, and maybe some of you guys can relate to me right now, I kind of just had this kind of knowing that that I felt like there was something inside of me I needed to give or serve or share or use to impact the world. And I didn't know what that was. So I would be waitressing tables and I would save my tip money. Save my tip money, and I remember the first time I could afford to buy Tony Robbins' Personal Power tapes, and then I actually saved up enough to go to a seminar. And the biggest thing I learned that changed my life then was that where I come from didn't have to determine where I was going. And I held on to that lesson, and it like planted a seed in me. And I kept going back to that over the years. And, you know, I just want to say, I was watching all your faces and reading all the comments, and I just had this moment where I realized right now live, right, we're all together live in this moment, there's over 937,000 of you, of us, part of this event. And I was just thinking live, I remember when we would hear like sold out event at Madison Square Garden, right? And that meant there was 20,000 people, 20,700 to sell out Madison Square Garden. Right now, together, we're experiencing something that's literally 45 sold out Madison Square Gardens. Like, how insane is that, right? And it's, you know, I was just kind of like, all together, right? We're talking about what's next, right? What's next in our own lives? How do we hear our knowing to know what's next in our calling? And it's like, I'm watching Tony and Dean and Jenna and Russell and this amazing team put together this that we're all part of. We're part of something right now that's next, right? Like, how many times in our history has this ever happened? And we're literally part of this live event. So super honored, super excited. But I just have a few minutes today. So I want to dive right in and share something with you that I think for me really is the one thing that can change everything in our lives. And, you know, a lot of people, if they're familiar with my story at all, it's usually maybe just the highlight reel that you see online, which is like, girl starts, you know, with an idea in her living room and no money and builds it to this billion-dollar company. And I did do that, that's true, but that's not really my story, right? My real story is really a girl who went from not believing in herself to learning how to believe in herself. A girl who went from not even being able to hear my own gut to really learning to hear my gut and trust it, right? And why I want to talk about knowing today is because I think so many of you are here because you have a knowing. You have this knowing inside that you have something where you're like, oh, you know, maybe you're in a job that you love too, but you're like, I'm not quite fulfilled. There's more in me that I need to give or to serve or to offer the world. And I believe when we learn to hear ourselves and trust ourselves, it's the one thing that changes everything in our lives. And so, you know, I thought since the time I was a little girl, I'd watch Oprah on TV, and I thought I want to share other people's stories with the world. I always thought I would grow up one day and have a talk show and interview other people and share their stories. So that's what I did. I was laser focused on that. You know, after school, that's where I started working in, and I thought I was in my dream job. I was anchoring the news and sharing other people's stories, and I got a skin condition called rosacea, which for me, it gets bright red. I get bumps all over my face. There's no cure for it. It comes all on my forehead, and if you imagine what sandpaper feels like, that's what my face will feel like on a lot of days. And so I'd be anchoring the news live, and I would hear in my earpiece from my producer, there's something on your face. You need to wipe it off. You need to wipe it off. And I'd be live, and I'd be like, and I knew there was nothing I could wipe off. I knew it was the makeup breaking up. And so I was in a season of what I thought was set back in my life, right? I started dealing with so much self-doubt. I would be anchoring the news live, and you guys know our inner critic in our head, right? I'd be having thoughts like, are viewers changing the channel right now? Am I gonna get fired? Are ratings going down? Because all I could hear over and over, day after day, was like, Jamie, you've gotta fix this. Like, there's something on your face. And so I was in this season of setback, and what I soon realized, and believe to this day, I think Joel Osteen coined this phrase, that so often in life, our setbacks are actually our setups for what we're called to do next, right? We heard Tony and Dean talk a lot about making our mess our message. And this season, I started trying every makeup on the market, from the most expensive in the department stores to the most inexpensive to the pro lines. Nothing would work. Nothing would work. And two things happened. I had this big epiphany, like, wait, my whole life I've seen all these makeup lines, but I've never seen a person that looks real, that has like a real skin challenge. I always see kind of the photoshopped images. And then I got this gut feeling, you guys. I got this gut feeling, I'll never forget it, that was like, well, if you could figure out how to create something that works for you, it's probably gonna help a whole lot of other people, right? So I had that feeling. And this is, I just want to take a moment, and wherever you're at right now, I just want you to think about the moments in your life where you have a gut feeling, but then your mind goes to talk yourself out of it, right? So I had this feeling, well, what if you can create something that, you know, but then my mind says, oh, but you're not qualified. You got no money, you have no connections, and you know no one in the beauty industry, like all those things, right? So I struggled for a while, and I just couldn't shake that feeling. I just couldn't shake that knowing. And when I look back at my life, and when I think we look at all of our lives, I believe our greatest decisions, our greatest moments in our life come down to the moments we make that decision to trust ourselves, even when it doesn't make sense in our head sometimes, right? And I made the decision to trust that feeling. I quit my job, had almost no money. My husband and I rewrote this business plan on our honeymoon flight and got back, quit our jobs, dove all in. I created this company called It Cosmetics, and I just knew, I'm not gonna say I thought, I knew it was needed. I knew it mattered. I knew that if people could get it in their hands, it'd be huge. It would change their lives. Here's what's hard. Sometimes we know, but then no one else knows, right? Sometimes we know, but then all we hear is no from everybody. And I wanna share this because so often when we start things in life, we give up because we think our gut was wrong, or we give up after 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 no's, right? So I did a lot of things wrong building this company, but one of the things I did right was I would literally get still and I would hear that knowing. And I want to share this with you right now because I know so many of you, just from reading in the chat and reading so many of your stories, you're in a spot right now where you have a knowing. You have a knowing. Whether it's that you have more to give or serve or create or offer the world. And so I just want to share this because you know, we poured our savings into this product that worked for me, and I thought, oh my gosh, it's going to work for everyone else. And if I had hours to talk, I would share so many stories, you guys, of the early years, because I went for 3 years without being able to afford to pay myself. I didn't know how this business was going to make it. And I went through this journey where all of the experts, the beauty retailers, told me no. So Sephora, Ulta, QVC, which is a live television shopping channel, all of them said no. They all said, we don't think that anyone will buy makeup from, you know, models that have real skin challenges, because I wanted to use real people as models, right? That had never been done before. I wanted to use every age, shape, size, skin tone, skin challenge. I wanted to call them beautiful, and I wanted to mean it, right? It was like, I knew I wanted to create a product and give it to the world, but that deeper why, right? The deeper why that Dean and Tony and everyone has spoken about, Trent Shelton was talking about this, the deeper why for me was like, oh, my whole life as a little girl, I saw these commercials and I always aspired to look like that, but they always kind of made me feel like I wasn't enough. So what if I create a company that has great products, but what if I shift the definition of beauty in the industry to like one that's inclusive, to one that says every person's beautiful, to one that, you know, maybe little kids see that before they're about to grow up and start doubting themselves too. It was this giant deep why. And I believed in it. But then I would go to meetings with Sephora and I would leave in tears because they said, we'll never carry your product. It's not the right fit for us or our customers. I would call QVC over and over and over for years. I got their head guy who built the multi-billion-dollar QVC industry. He's a legend, the beauty industry at QVC. I got him on the phone one day and I thought it was gonna be life-changing that he took my call. His name's Alan Burke, and he says to me, we've reviewed your products. This was after 2 years of sending him over and over. We've reviewed your products with all the buyers. It's unanimous. You're not the right fit for QVC or for our customers. And I remember that night, we were down to under $1,000 in our bank account. I didn't know how we were going to survive. I remember that night literally crying myself to sleep under the covers and waking up the next morning hoping it was a dream. And it wasn't. And it was just like day after day. But every time when the world told me it wasn't gonna work, when the experts were saying no, right? We were only doing 2 to 3 orders a day on our website. So we were getting almost no traction for a few years. But when I would get still, I couldn't shake this feeling in my gut that I was supposed to be doing this, right? It didn't make sense in my head, but I just had that feeling and I made the decision to trust it, and I kept going and kept going and kept going, right? We got a very big meeting, you guys. One of the most defining moments in my life, I just want to share with you in case someone needs to hear this today. But we got a really big meeting with a potential investor, really famous investor, and I was like, oh my gosh, they loved our product, right? Because it's good. They loved our product. And I'm like, if they invest in our company, A, I'm not going to go bankrupt, and B, maybe they can use their leverage, because they're super well known, to get us into all these stores that keep telling me no. So we did meeting after meeting after meeting, and got down to the final meeting, and I thought this was going to be life-changing. And I flew up. My husband and I flew up. We were in person, and the head guy was like, we just want to say, congratulations. Thank you for sharing your whole product pipeline with us, all the stuff. We really believe in your product. But it's a no. We're going to pass on investing in IT Cosmetics. And when I said, okay, can you tell me why? Because usually feedback's a gift. And you guys, he was 3 feet from me in person. And I'll never forget this. He says, do you want me to be really honest with you? I was like, yes, please. And he says to me, I just don't think women will buy makeup from someone who looks like you with your body and your weight. And I remember when he said this, and I remember a couple things, like a lifetime of body doubt and self-doubt, flooded my body. I almost felt like I was staring my own fear straight in the eye when he said that to me. I never actually felt anger toward him. I mean, I went out in my car and bawled my eyes out. I never felt anger toward him. 2 things. The moment he said that, right? I'll never forget this moment. I had this whisper, it was like this feeling in my gut that said, he's wrong. He's wrong. I felt it. I felt it, you guys. I felt it. And today I want to talk about knowing, which is why I'm sharing this story. I felt it. But I didn't have any proof. I wasn't selling much, all those things. But I remembered that feeling. And over the next several years, okay, it would be another 6 years until I heard from that guy again, by the way. But over the next several years, what happens when someone rejects us or says, literally looks us in the eye? We've all had this, right? How many of you guys have had somebody basically just tell you you're not enough, right? Yeah, and sometimes it's an investor, and sometimes it's our family, sometimes it's our partner, sometimes it's the people we love most, right? As Trent and Dean and Tony were saying the other day, sometimes God gives you the vision and no one else has it, right? But so many times over 6 years, when his words came back in my head, I literally would have to turn the volume down on them. And I would do something very intentionally. I would turn the volume up on that memory I had of that knowing in my gut, right? I would lean into that knowing, and I'd keep going, and I'd keep going. And I'm gonna cut a whole bunch of years of stories because we just have a few minutes. But I wanna share one important moment, which was that we finally got a big chance, a big yes, to get 1 shot on QVC. Okay, so we were only doing 2 to 3 orders a day. I didn't know how we were gonna stay in business. We get 1 big shot on QVC. What it meant was I got to go live for 10 minutes and either hit their big sales goal, right? Dean talks about sales. By the way, how beautiful, can I just say how beautiful was, I was just processing that he's sharing with all of us how to sell, which I wish I had learned so much sooner, you guys. And then he's fully transparent and then taking us through selling the project next. And I just thought that the transparency was beautiful. So anyways, just to honor that for a second, because I love seeing things in real time, because then I learn how to apply them to my life. So we get 1 big shot on QVC, and I learn, oh, here's what it means. We have 10 minutes, and I'm only selling 2 to 3 orders a day on our website. I don't know how, at any moment we can go bankrupt, and this is years in. We get 1 shot, and I learned that to hit their sales goal in that 10-minute window, I'd have to sell over 6,000 units of our concealer in 10 minutes or not come back. And it was a consignment deal. We had to manufacture all the product. We had to take a loan out to do it. Everything was on the line in this 10-minute window, this 1 chance, this 1 shot. And, you know, in planning for this segment, I flew out to QVC a week early. I knew everything was on the line. I knew if it didn't go well, right? If it didn't go well, we'd have to take everything back and we would be going out of business. And so everything was on the line. And here's the thing about our knowing, right? Sometimes we have a knowing, and again, no one else knows it, right? And we have to decide in life which we listen to. And how many people do you know in your life, maybe their friends or their family, that have a knowing, they have a calling on their heart, and maybe it's to create, maybe it's to teach dance, maybe it's whatever it might be, right? They have a calling, whatever it is, but they let other people talk them out of it. They let their own fear talk them out of it and keep them stuck, right? But when we have a calling on our heart, if we don't listen to it, I believe we then live our entire lives never becoming the person we're born to be, right? My good friend, Sarah Jakes Roberts, I just interviewed her on my Instagram Live, and she said that when we have a calling on our heart and we stay stuck and we don't go after it, she says we basically, our fear lies to us and says we're staying safe. If we try to step out in faith, we're worried we don't have the courage that it takes, so we stay stuck. And she said we spend our entire life in anguish, right? And longing because we know that more has been assigned to our name. How many people do you know in your life right now? And I've been in this position, you guys, sometimes where I just have to remember that feeling that more has been assigned to my name, and I just have to go for it, right? And QVC was one of those moments in my life because we had third-party consultants that are awesome. They help a lot of people sell their products. They were great. But you know, they told me to just use the same type of model with perfect skin. They said, if you're gonna have a shot at success, and almost nobody makes it on QVC, it's so hard, you guys. They said, if you're gonna have a shot at making it, here's what you need to do. Use all these models with perfect skin. And I'm like, okay, but you can't fake authenticity. And my authentic why is to like, show my own rosacea in case someone watching at home can connect and sees how the product works. Like I want to put, you know, women in their 70s, 80s, all ages, all skin problems. And they were mortified at this idea. And they wanted me to win, but they were seeing my shot at winning through the lens of their own fear and their own experience, right? So I flew out a week early, sat in anguish in a QVC parking lot in a rental car all alone, staring at the front door, knowing the next time I walked in that building, my whole life would change, one way or the other. I couldn't try it both ways, and I had one shot. Do I go with what they're telling me to do when my gut, my intuition, my knowing is telling me something totally different? But I have no proof it's gonna work. In fact, I have 3 years of it not working, but I can't shake it. So I walked in the building, and I was shaking like a leaf, and the cameras went on. I knew I was live to 100 million homes. I had a 10-minute clock, and I trusted myself. And I remember sorry, I'm getting emotional, but I remember the moment, because I just think so many of us don't do this in life. I remember the moment my bare-faced rosacea came up on national television, right? And I was raised a perfectionist, you guys. I would never think of leaving the house without makeup, you know, and I was like, boom, bare-faced rosacea. And I walked over to real women every age, every skin tone, every skin challenge, and called them beautiful and meant it. And I remember there was about a minute left in the presentation. And I didn't know how it was going, but I knew they hadn't cut us yet, because they can cut you live if you're not doing well. There was about a minute left, and the host says, the deep shade's almost gone, the tan shade sold out. And I was like, oh, and I remember at the 10-minute mark, this huge sold out sign came up across the screen. I started crying on national TV. They cut, and they went to like Vitamix or Dyson Vacuum or Apple iPhone or something. And my husband came running through the studio, and I'm like crying, and I'm like, Real Women has spoken. And he's like, we're not going bankrupt. And that one airing turned into 5 more that year, 101 the next year. We ended up building the largest beauty brand in QVC's history. It is right now, at this moment, to this day. I did over 1,000 live shows myself. All the retail stores that said no to us eventually said yes, right? And had I listened to all those stores who said to change what I was doing, to go against my knowing, to do what's working for everyone else, we would have never grown a successful brand, right? And by the time they let us in, we started growing and growing and growing and growing. The head guy at QVC, who told me, who built the multi-billion-dollar industry, who told me no one, you're not the right fit for us or for our customers. He ended up retiring. He became one of my greatest mentors in my life. He is to this day. We hired him in a paid position on our advisory board at Cosmetics after he retired. So the guy who rejected me, and I was crying myself to sleep for days, the guy who rejected me was now working for me, right? In life, we never know who the person who calls us rejected one day is going to call us boss, right? And the way we have these experiences is when we stay true to our knowing. When we stay true to our knowing. And I'm going to cut a lot of stuff out of here, but what I want to say is we eventually, by listening to what we knew, by staying authentic, by not getting distracted by what everyone else was doing, we eventually created something so unique that L'Oreal bought it. They have 40 companies, right? But what we were doing, because it was authentic, because we didn't get distracted by what everyone else was doing, and we stuck true to that, we built a company that was valuable. So they bought it, their largest US acquisition to date, and made me their first female CEO in their 100+ year history, which was an amazing experience. And the first 2 years that I was there, we doubled the size of the company post-acquisition. And then I want to share one moment with you that I've never shared before. I've never shared it anytime I've given a talk, but it's just on my heart today to share. I had a moment where I was sitting in my corner office, right? And y'all know I worked at Denny's. I've pushed grocery carts in the Safeway parking lot. I appreciate hard work. And I had a moment where I was sitting in my corner office in this brand new 60,000 square foot office, right? And for years we ran our company in our living room. I'm sitting in my corner office at Cosmetics overlooking the entire Manhattan skyline. My office had a bathroom and a shower, and it was bigger than any apartment I've ever, and I'm sitting there and it's beautiful, and the art and the everything. And I had this moment, you guys, that I want to share with you in case one of you is having this moment today. I had this moment where I was like, I'm in a job and I'm looking at all these things around me that are what the world tells me significance looks like. I'm in this spot with what the world tells me is supposed to make me happy. It's supposed to be what success looks like. And I love my team like my family, right? But in that moment, in that corner office, I had this feeling, this knowing that I just want to share because I know so many of you are having it right now in your life. I had this feeling, this knowing that I'm supposed to serve in a whole different way. I'm not supposed to sit around with all this fancy stuff that is really cool and I'm grateful for it, but it doesn't fill my soul. I had this feeling I'm supposed to share everything I've ever gone through to help save someone else. Nights of crying themselves to sleep, to help save someone else on their own journey of self-doubt, how to overcome it quicker, right? And I just knew it. And it made no sense in my head or to anyone around me, but I left this billion-dollar company I built when everything around me could have just set me up to have this really fancy life. And I sat there and wore my sweats and binge ate Lucky Charms and poured everything I knew into, as Dean would call it, the self-education industry, the knowledge broker industry. I wrote my first book ever called Believe It. And it just launched a few weeks ago. And let me tell you guys, yes, it was really fun when it hit the New York Times bestseller list. But here's what I want to share with you today. The part that fills my soul is when, I see you guys holding up Believe It. When I read things on Instagram or DMs or we do lives where one of you says I started reading the book rooting for you, but I ended the book rooting for myself. So many of you have written me messages saying Jamie, this week I decided to trust myself and it worked. Those are the moments that fill my soul. So in closing, because I'm over time by 3 minutes, in closing, I want to share something that's just on my heart. I pray before I speak every single time, and I just pray that I share something that someone needs to hear on that day. And with my book, I'm donating 100% of the proceeds of it, right? This event, Dean mentioned, all of us are here speaking for free. I listen to my gut and I go where I feel called to serve. And my prayer for every one of you guys today is that you hear what you know, K-N-O-W, over all the ways you tell yourself no. N-O, right? My journey is a journey of literally thousands of people over years and years and years telling me no. And sometimes we're the ones telling ourselves no. But I believe your knowing is always more powerful than their knowing. You know what I mean? And my prayer for you today is that you listen to that and listen to your knowing. And it's so easy to talk ourselves out of the person that we're born to be because it feels safer that way, right? But like my friend Sarah said on my Instagram Live, she said, you always live with that longing because you know more has been assigned to your name. And my final thing I want to share, 30 seconds, is that, you know, I talk a lot about a toolbox I built of things, right? Because Dean mentioned the other day, the imposter syndrome never goes away. It's always there. I've had the blessing of meeting some of my greatest mentors in my whole life I could have never imagined meeting. And they all still deal with it, which makes me feel better. We all deal with that imposter syndrome. And just final words I want to share with you. No matter what faith or no faith you have, I think these words apply. Every time I start to doubt myself or feel unqualified or feel like I have this calling on my heart, like I'm supposed to do it, but I feel unqualified, there's famous words I always think and remind myself of, and just in case you need to hear this today. And the words say, God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called. And to me that means if you have something on your heart, a purpose, a calling that you can't shake, to me it means you already have everything you need inside of you right now to accomplish your dream. And I think one of our greatest journeys in this lifetime is learning to believe it for ourselves. And I believe in you, and I'm just so grateful and so honored to be here and to support Dean and Tony and Jenna, but also just to share this space with your precious time. So I just want to say thank you, I love you, and I'm excited for all of you, especially with Project Next and everything next going on in your life. So thank you for having me today. Dean!
Give it up for Jamie Kern-Lima.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Before you go, yeah, the music, I guess I'm supposed to feel the music for a second, but every time, I've heard this story before. But every time you tell the story, can you feel this amazing woman's heart and soul? Can you put it in the chat? And, but every time I hear the story of the guy saying, you're not the right shape, you don't have the right fit. Like, tell me you don't want to kick the guy's ass. I'm just telling you, like, I'd love to have a different emotion. I kick his butt. I'm not going to swear anymore today. But don't you feel that way when she shared it? But the other thing, too, which I think is so empowering, is, and this is the notes I had. I took a whole bunch of notes, but the ones that are most important is you have so many no's when you try something more in life, right? Mm-hmm. We all get no's. We all have self-doubt. But how many of us let that just cumulative no be the one that stops us, and we don't know if the next no is actually a yes that allows you to build it cosmetic.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like I know that sounds, you probably heard it before. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, but what if God, the universe, whatever you believe in, is what if we are all preset with a certain amount of no's or failures or people that let you down, and you don't know if it's 6 of them or 60, and we don't know if it's the 7th one that allows us to break free and be the person we were meant to be the woman we were born to be, right? Or the man we were born to be. Or maybe, unfortunately, maybe it's not fair, maybe it's a previous life, I don't know, maybe it's 60 times. But at 61, you get to be the woman or the man you were meant to be. And I hear your story, and you had every excuse to quit. You really did. Every excuse, and no one would have blamed you. You could have went home and you could have had a story to this day. You could have said, I tried, we ran out of money, I finally went to a place, I thought it was gonna happen, and the guy looked at me and said, I'm the wrong shape, I'm the wrong size, I'm the wrong everything. I knew it wasn't my time, and you still could be telling that story, not the one that inspires so many. So thank you for being here, seriously.
Thank you. You know, I'm just thinking, listening to you live too, is when we get people that reject us over and over, or we don't see success around us, our imposter syndrome grows.
Oh, always. Like we talk about that all the time.
We talk about it all the time, and I'm just thinking, sorry, I don't know if I'm putting you on the spot, but you know how you and I are going to do we're doing an imposter syndrome training together.
Yes, we're doing an imposter syndrome live training because it's the #1 thing that we find holding, and we want it to come from 2 perspectives, men and women who have broken through them.
Yeah, I would love, if you're cool with it, for everyone who's part of your... I know I hear all these cool classes that Tony and you and Jenna are doing. Can we give everyone the imposter syndrome training as a bonus?
Yes.
To invite everyone here who's part of this? I think that would be amazing.
Okay, yes.
Is that okay?
Yes. So, if you get involved with Project Next.
Yes, yes.
Jamie and I are doing a live training on imposter syndrome. We've just had so many people ask this, and we just decided to do it. We're doing it in probably a month from now. So we're doing a live training. We're going to go deep on it from 2 different perspectives. If you get enrolled in Project Next, we're going to include that as well. So thank you for that.
Thank you. And thank you for, I'm going to give you one more hug. Thank you for just you and Tony and your whole teams, everyone changing lives. And, you know, as you shared, this impacted me 20 years ago as a waitressing at Denny's. And I'm just so grateful and honored to be part of this and to serve however I can. So thank you for having me.
Let's
thank
give it up for Jamie Kern-Lima.
Thank you.
And yes, I saw somebody that, if you already enrolled a few minutes ago, yes, we'll do that. And it's just going to be fun. And you see her energy, and she comes at it from a perspective through her lens and women, and I have, and we decided to do it. It's a completely separate training, but we'll include that. Okay, so now we're on to our next presenter. You guys feeling it today? Wasn't her story so impactful? Now, and listen, I just want you guys to realize, when we chose, I get to say my friends, but when we have different presenters and speakers, I want you to take from each one the thing that you need, right? This isn't about you selling your business for $1.2 billion, is it? Do you guys get that? It's more than that. It's about a woman who was told no 1,000,000 times, that she felt there was more. Who feels like there's more inside of you? Seriously, right now, who knows there's another level? Dale Carnegie said the greatest plight of the human race is knowing you have more potential and not utilizing it. And that's the mix of these 5 days. That's why there's additional speakers and training, and we got 2 more days. We're trying to get you out of here, give you capabilities. We built something and obsessed over it to give you more capabilities for those of you that want to make sure you get everything you need. And yes, this opportunity, so many people have asked, this opportunity is available while the challenge is going on, right? We want you to get in now, but know it's there. So those of you go, oh, take a breath. But it will go away after, and we will answer the questions. How is it different than KBB, and how is it different than this? We'll get all those questions answered for you, because we don't want you to leave this opportunity, leave this feeling without the capabilities to keep saying yes, to overcome those obstacles, and have the blueprint from 2 guys that have been doing it for 65 years and showing you how to thrive in this shifting world. But right now, we have another guest. I think you already know who it is. But again, I'm going to go into the same friend, heart, but it's true. This next guy, Russell Brunson, has sold just about everything. He's going to tell the story, so I don't want to rob his thunder of where he started. And I can look, there's a whole nother list of credentials. He built an amazing company called ClickFunnels. Some of you might know it, might use it. It is absolutely insane. He bootstrapped that, started with nothing, him and some dear partners and friends, and built something magical to help change the world, to help empower entrepreneurs, to help give people the tools to go faster, because he wishes he had them. He's got a heart to serve. He's down here with his 2 twin boys. I know his wife, Colette, who's amazing. I hope she's watching. What's up, Colette? He has a beautiful family. He's a good human. He's always been a dear friend of me on anything I need, and I hope I serve him at the highest level. His credentials are huge, but here's what you need to know. It's a guy that started with a dream, started scared. No one in his family did it, failed miserably on different opportunities. But he didn't give up. He entered this knowledge industry, the self-education industry, and now he's one of the leaders with one of the top companies, valued at some insane number if he ever wanted to sell it, if he decides to do a number kind of like what Jamie's doing. But that's not where he's at right now. He's a humble guy here on his own dime, flew down here on his own time, here to serve. So could we please light up the chat for Mr. Russell Brunson?
Hey.
What's up,
man?
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Russell Brunson!
What's up, everybody? Hello, hello. Thank you. Oh, man, so exciting. This is great. I feel like I'm in a huge stadium with fans and people. I love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, I'm excited. Let's get started. I'm so excited to be here with you guys today. Like Dean said, I lucky enough I flew out here with my twin boys last night, and so they're in the other room. This is like bring your kids to work day, so I'm excited to have them here and hopefully learning and paying attention to some of this stuff. But I'm excited to be here today, you guys. How many of you who are out there right now, this is kind of your first introduction to this whole knowledge industry? Like this is the first time you're like, wait, what? People are making money doing this kind of thing, and it's like brand new to you, right? As I was on the flight coming over, I started thinking, I'm like, man, you know, there's I think they had almost 1 million people who registered for this challenge, which is insane in and of itself, right? That's more people that live in like my entire state. So it's kind of crazy, like how many people were involved. But I remember thinking back, I was like, well, what was it like the very first time that I ever heard about this? Like my first time coming into this journey, and I was trying to put myself back in that state. And it was really cool because I was in college when I was learning about this stuff. And that's probably 18, 19 years ago now. I know I look like I'm 11 years old, but it was about that long ago. And I was in college, and I started trying to figure out how to start a business. Like, I needed to make money. I just met my beautiful wife. We'd gotten engaged, and I was like, now I have to be a man. I have to get a job or start something. And at the time, I was wrestling at my university, and I didn't want to quit wrestling, so I was like, I have to figure out a way to make some money. But I didn't know what else to do. And so the internet was kind of new at the time, and I was jumping on, and I was going to Google, type in how to make money on the internet, right? The things that a lot of us do. And I'm searching for these different things, and eventually, over a 2 or 3 month journey, something popped up, and I heard somebody talking about selling information. And it was the first time that ever crossed my mind. I was thinking, like, I'm going to go buy things at the thrift store and sell them on eBay. I was going to go, try to create things in China and ship them out here. And I had all these different ideas of what I thought was going to be the thing. And then again, somebody mentioned that you could sell information. And at first it didn't make sense to me. Like, why would someone pay me for information? Like, what do I even have? Like, I'm a 20-year-old kid. I have no talents. I have no skills. I have no hobbies. I don't even know what I could do. How many gets to feel like that? Like, that's where you're at. You're like, that sounds amazing, but I got no idea I got nothing, right? Okay, I have perfect empathy for you. I remember that. And so I remember sitting there for weeks and weeks, like thinking, like, well, what can I sell? What can I sell? There's got to be something. Like, I got to have some talent. I have something, right? I've been on this earth for 20 years at this point. Like, what do I have to offer? And I couldn't think of anything. And I remember being frustrated because I was just like, I don't know what to do. I wanted to do it. I felt like that feeling of like, this is exciting. I think I could do this, but I didn't know what to do. And so I kind of started this journey. And I remember fast forward about 6 or 7 months later, it was spring break. And again, I was on the wrestling team at Boise State. And so all the other wrestlers were all single guys, and they went down to Vegas for spring break, and they're hanging out. And me and my buddy were the only 2 married guys on the wrestling team. So we were married, and our wives had to actually work, and so we didn't feel like we should leave them and go hang out in Vegas. So we stayed at home, and me and him were goofing around while our wives were going to work, supporting us. And while we were doing that, one day he was like, hey, have you ever made a potato gun before? I was like, no, what's a potato gun? He's like, oh, dude, they're the greatest things. You make them, and you glue together these pipes, and we can shoot potatoes like 100 yards. It's so much fun. I was like, we got nothing else to do this week. Let's make a potato gun. So we drove to Home Depot. First, we went on Google and typed in how to make a potato gun, and we found some plans. We drove to Home Depot. We started buying the pipes and cutting them, and we spent the entire spring break making a potato. Anyone here ever made a potato gun before? Curious? Oh, there's a couple of you guys. All right. We got some potato gun experts. All right. That's good to know. But I'd never made them before. If you've seen them about this tall, big thing, a PVC pipe, you jam a potato in it, and then you spray hairspray in the back, you click a button, and it shoots this potato. They're really, really fun. So we spent the entire week building out 3 or 4 potato guns. When the weekend came, we took our wives, we drove out to the middle of nowhere, we started shooting these potatoes, and had so much fun shooting them everywhere. And I was like, this is like the greatest weekend of my life. We had so much fun. And then the next Monday, I had to go back to school. And I'm a college kid. I'm frustrated. I'm trying to figure out how to make money. I'm shooting potato guns, and I'm back in class. And, like, all my momentum just stopped, right? I'm sitting in class. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting there, and I had this idea. I was like, wait a minute. I now know how to make a potato gun. Like, is there anybody else on this planet besides me that can make a potato gun? Like, I don't know. I wonder if anybody else besides me was actually looking for information about how to make potato guns. And so remember, I snuck out of my classroom. I ran into the computer lab. And there's different places online you can go that will show you how many people are searching for things. So I typed in potato guns. And it was crazy. At the time, there were 18,000 people per month searching the keyword, how to make a potato gun. And I was like, this is my thing. This is the opportunity. I know how to make a potato gun, and people want to know how to do it. And no one else was selling a product how to do it. Like, this could be my thing. And I was like, this is the like. I was. Some of you guys are gonna have that moment where all of a sudden you're like, I know my thing now. This could be the thing. And so I went to my buddy. I called him up. I said, hey, I want to make another potato gun, but this time I want to film it. He said, do you have a video camera? I was like, no. He's like, well, we can try to borrow one. So we found some of the video camera. We got it, and we drove to Home Depot, and we had the video camera. We walked down the pipe, the the aisle with all the pipes. We filmed ourselves looking at the pipes and said, okay, this is the type of pipes you get. This is the size. Then we drove back to my wife's work, and they had a little shop there, and we filmed us cutting the pipes to the right thing, and then we glued them together. We filmed this entire thing. And when it was done, we burned it on a DVD. We burned an old DVD burner back in the day. We put it together, and I made my very first information product, which I brought one here today. This is actually the last one I was able to find. It's still in its shrink wrap. But this is my very first information product ever. I don't know if you can see with the glare. There you go. It was called How to Make a Potato Gun. Like literally my very first product. In fact, look on the back, there's a picture of me, my bald head back here, holding a bag of potatoes. There's my buddy Nate, the two guys who were married on the wrestling team. Like, this was my very first product. I was like, I did it. Like, I took something out of my head, and I turned it into a product. Like, this is the most exciting feeling in the world. And then all the fears started coming, like, how do I sell this? Like, are people actually going to buy this? What if they judge me? What if they make fun of me? What if somebody has a potato gun and it blows up in their hands? Like, all the fears started coming, right? And I promise you, you're all going to feel that as well. As soon as you start taking steps forward, all the fears are going to come flooding. And you're like, and you'll freak out. And that's what happened to me. All the fears started coming. And finally, it's like, I have to figure this out. I got to figure it out. So I spent the time, and back then it was hard. It was really hard to like get a website up and get a web page and put on an order button and like all the things. I spent weeks and weeks putting it all together, but I finally had something to sell my very first information product. I remember I went online, I started trying to drive traffic to it, and I started making my first sale, and then my second sale, and my third sale. And for those of you who haven't experienced that yet, when you take something you created and somebody gives you money for it, it's one of the best feelings in the world. I was just like on cloud nine that someone was actually buying my product. And so for me, that's where this whole journey began. Now, obviously, the potato gun market is not this huge market. I'm trying to make it bigger. If any of you guys want to be in the market, let me know. We can sell potato gun. Just kidding. But it's not a huge market. I was making some money, but it wasn't this huge thing. And I felt called for more. I was like, I want to do more of this. Like, what else can I do? And I didn't know what it was. I still didn't know, like, what's my mission? What's my calling? What am I supposed to be doing? And my guess is for most of you guys, you don't know that yet either. And that's okay. Okay, there's something magical when you start going into momentum, you start moving forward, all of a sudden ideas and opportunities start coming towards you. So I was like, okay, I'm going to move. I tried to sell this. I made some money. What's the next thing? What can I do? And what I found when I was trying to make money with my potato gun is that the thing I kept getting stuck on is I didn't know how to get people to come to my website. Like, how do I get traffic? I didn't know how to do that piece of it. And a lot of people were selling these really expensive masterminds and courses and things I couldn't afford at the time. And I was like, I wonder if I could interview other people about how they did it. Like, that'd be kind of cool. Like, how do people get traffic from SEO and pay-per-click and Google, and this is before Facebook, but how to get from MySpace to all these things. And so that was kind of my initial things. I'm gonna interview other people. And so I'm gonna throw up a slide here you guys can see. So this is Russ, if we can see my slide here. This is me back when I was doing this potato gun game. You notice I'm wearing a white shirt and a tie because I thought that business people had to wear white shirts and ties. So I'm wearing a white shirt and tie. And I was like, okay, I need to learn how to drive traffic. So I started interviewing these people. So these are the people I interviewed. I interviewed this guy's named Carl Galetti, then Mike Filsame, and then Gary Ambrose, and Brad Callen, and Brad Fallon, and Ewan Chia, and Rosalind Gardner, Jack Humphreys, and Keith Baxter. These are people I saw who were driving all this traffic. So I got on a phone call. I started interviewing them because they were experts. I wasn't yet, but they were. I was like, this is so cool. I'm going to get their opinion, figure out how they're doing it. So I interviewed every one of these people, and they let me record the calls. Right? So I was recording all these calls, and it was awesome. When it was done, I had all these recordings of people who were doing what I was trying to do. I remember going back to them saying, I have a product now. Like, I have interviews of me interviewing all these amazing people about how they did something. Like, this is an information product, right? It wasn't my knowledge. I didn't know how to do it, but I found other people who did. I interviewed them, and all of a sudden I had now what was called a product. What was a product, right? And some of you guys are thinking, it's funny, because every time I tell someone this story or about this, like, well, of course, people let you interview them because you're Russell Brunson. I was like, just so you know, I wasn't always Russell Brunson, whatever that means, right? This is me, the picture. This is me when I was asking people to interview me. And I want to show you I'm going to show you some video clips today. My goal is to show you how bad I was, to give any of you guys who are like, I can't do this because of fill in the blank. I'm awkward, I'm introverted, I'm scared, I'm really bad on camera, like all those things. I want to destroy those false beliefs for you right now, because I promise you, I was worse when I started than any of you will be today. I guarantee it. If you've ever done like an Instagram story or selfie or anything, you're better than I was. So I'm going to show you my very first video clip here. This is how I was trying to initially sell these interviews. So we can pull up the video quick. This is video number 1.
Hi, I'm Russell Brunson. Welcome to thesecondtier.com. I'm here to help you get Okay. Hi, I'm Russell Brunson, and welcome to thesecondtier.com. I'm here. Should I say that? I'm here to introduce you. What'd you say? Hi, I'm Russell Brunson, and welcome to thesecondtier.com. I want to help you get started with your affiliate training today. The first thing you need to do is click on the link above me and download our affiliate. That was real cool, the flushing toilet in the background.
All right, so there's how I started. literally, as we're filming the videos, the guys were flushing the toilets in the background, like, so embarrassing, right? But that was me. That was my very first shot. That was the very first video I ever made. I was so scared, as you could probably tell, but that was it, okay? That was the beginning of this journey, and right? I'm trying to convince these people who are these big, huge, big name, famous gurus and things, authors and people, and I was like, I need them to interview, like, I want to interview them. And I was so scared, like, what if they say no to me? But almost all of them said yes, right? They saw someone like me who was hungry, who was trying, and said, yes, I'll let you interview me. So they let me interview them. I recorded it. Now I had this product. I can go and sell it, right? And it was like the coolest thing. So for any of you guys who are at that spot where you're like, I don't have a thing yet, well, what are you interested in? You've got to be interested in something, right? Find something you're interested in. Who are the authors, the speakers, the people who've already done the thing that you want to do? You can go and you can interview them and start figuring out exactly who they are. Even if you're in a spot where you're like, no one knows who I am. I'm not famous. I don't have these things. Neither did I when I got started. And that's what's so powerful about this, okay? Just your desire, your excitement about wanting to learn it'll give them the ability to want to share with you back, okay? It's really, really magical. So that's the first thing. The next thing is after I started sharing this message, sharing my mission, and I started like doing this and started like selling some of this product a little bit, I got excited. Like I was like, this is really, really fun. How many of you have ever felt this before? Like you start sharing, you start kind of sharing your ideas and you want to do it more, right? It gets exciting. People always ask me, like, Russell, how do you find your passion? And the reality is the way you find your passions is something like, it starts with a spark, right? What's something you have that like, it gets you excited, you have some interest in, right? Like I didn't know I was gonna be a marketing guy, but I was interested in how do I get traffic to my Potato Gun DVD? That was the question I was asking. So I started asking all these other people, I started interviewing them. And that spark, as I started interviewing these people, that spark turned into a fire. It got more and more exciting. The more I started learning, the more I wanted to learn, the more I wanted to talk about it, the more I wanted to share about it, right? Excuse me, and so, that same thing's happened for you. So the first question for you guys is like, well, what are you kind of interested in? Where is there a spark of interest that you would love to go deeper on, that you could interview other people, you could ask them questions if you don't have something that could be your own yet, right? If you have that spark, the biggest way, the fastest way to take a spark and turn it into a fire is what, right? Let's say I have a match, I light a match and it's there and it's kind of sparking and it's dwindling and the wood's about to burn out. If I walk over to a fire that's already on fire and I throw that match in the fire, boom, it gets big, right? So the same thing's true for all of you guys. You're here today because you got that spark, right? You're like, this is exciting, this is interesting. There's this business I didn't even know about where I can take my knowledge, I can turn it into products, I can sell it, I can make money, right? You got that spark, and now you're coming around me and Dean and Tony and Jen and all these people, right? And our job, we're on fire. Like we've been doing this now for decades. We're so excited and we're so passionate. So you're coming around us, we're taking that spark, we're making it big. We're igniting it on fire. Okay, so for you and whatever business you're in, you got to take that spark and figure out who are the people that are already doing what you're doing, right? That already have that fire. So for me, as I started interviewing these different people, my spark became a fire. I became obsessed with this. I was like, I love business. I love marketing. I love learning how to drive traffic. I got so excited that I wanted to do more of that, right? I remember about that time in my journey, as I was interviewing these people and I was getting excited, somebody asked me if I would come speak to their event, okay? And again, I came today to speak here, and I love this. Like, this is my favorite thing now. Those who don't know me, I'm very introverted, so face-to-face, I get really awkward and shy. But, like, sitting in a room with a whole bunch of people or sitting on stage, I feel comfortable there, but I get really awkward. A lot of times, I feel like I'm an introvert and an extrovert's calling, right? And how many of my introverts out there can relate to that? Yeah, it's scary, right? Like, oh, I don't want to be on TV. I don't want to be on cameras. I get that, okay? I'm still like, people see me in the side room before we get started, and like, that guy's really weird. He seems so awkward. And like, yeah, I get nervous talking to people face to face, but I realize that I believe in my mission, so like, in this kind of setting, I can thrive. And so for those who are introverted, don't stress out. That's okay. This was built for the introverts, because you don't have to be talking face to face to everyone. You create something amazing, and then you can share it with the world, which is really, really cool. So I got asked to speak at this event, and I was like, I've never spoken at an event before. That sounds insanely scary. I don't know how to do that. But I was like, at the same time, I was like, when I get scared, I can't just like walk away from it. Like if I want to be successful in life, when these scary things come to me, I got to be brave, and I got to go through the fear, right? And some of you guys are feeling that right now. Like you have that fear, right? In fact, it's interesting if you, in every story, every movie from the beginning of time till now that follows the same, we call it the hero's journey, right? The journey is the same. And it's interesting, if you look at every movie, the hero in every movie always has this call to adventure, right? Where they're called to go do something, right? Frodo has to go to Mordor and destroy the ring, right? He's got to leave the Shire and go do this thing, right? You've got Luke Skywalker had to go on a journey. Like every movie, Lightning McQueen had to go to win the Piston Cup. Like every hero has to leave. But if you look at every storyline, after the hero hears the call to adventure, the first thing that always happens is they have what they call the refusal of the call. Well, the hero always, in every single movie, every single time comes back and says, I'm not ready. I'm not worthy. I can't do this. Like, who am I to do that? It happens to every single hero in every single movie, and it's going to happen to you too. And you guys who heard Dean today gave you guys an amazing offer. Like insane. He's like, oh, I'm going to give you a course for $1,000 plus event tickets plus this plus this. Like he gave like $10,000 worth of things for $1,000. And most of you guys probably got excited. Like this is it. This is my calling. I'm going to do it. And then what happened? The refusal of the call. But I can't though because I'm introverted. I'm scared. I'm blah, blah, and all these things start coming, right? I know that. I've been there multiple times in my life, okay? I feel that with you guys, okay? And so you hear that refusal of the call. But to have success, okay, the hero, if the hero refuses the call, the movie ends really, really quick, right? It's going to be boring. So what happens? The hero has to overcome that fear and take that step, and take that leap of faith, right? And so for me, that's what happened. I had this calling, like, hey, I want you to come speak at this event. And I was like, I don't want to speak at an event. I'm scared of people. That sounds horrible. Like, I've never done it before. No. And then the person's like, well, you want to do it? And I'm like, yes. Oh my gosh, now I have to do it. And then I started freaking out, like, what do I wear? I've never spoken at an event. Like, what's the business event? There's going to be business people there. I need a shirt and a tie. And like, and I started freaking out. So I'm going to show you guys the second video clip here because the second video is the very first time I ever spoke at an event with people. Okay, and again, I'm showing you this because so many of you guys are like, oh, I'm never going to be like Dean or Tony or Russell or Jen or whoever, right? Because you're like, oh, I can't speak like them. I want you to show the beginnings because if you see how bad I was, it should give you all hope of like, oh my gosh, if that nerd can do it, I think I got a shot. So here's the very first time I ever spoke at an actual event, and feel free to laugh at me. I'm cool with that if you want to. Here we go.
But what I wanted to talk about tonight is kind of a broad overview, hopefully help you to get better information out of the whole internet marketing business. This is a lot bigger group than I had planned on.
Did you see how scared I was? But I had my shirt and tie on because that's what business people do. And I was laughing because like I was looking, the microphone's hooked to my tie and then the wires like all out the side for the entire event. Oh, I was so scared. I wish someone asked me today if I could go talk to my future self or my past self, who would I talk to? And I would go back to that dude right there and be like, I know you're scared to death. I know that like this doesn't make any sense. I know that this pains you, but if you stay on this path, you're going to have the ability to change hundreds of thousands of people's lives. Like just keep doing it. Don't stop. And I would say the same thing to you guys right now who are in this moment. If I could come back to you 20 years now, come back and be like, look, this is scary. I get it. Look how awkward you look on stage right now. But man, in 20 years from now, you're going to have a chance to speak in front of hundreds of thousands of people and actually change their lives. But you got to keep going. You have to stop stopping and start going, start moving forward. That's what I tell myself then. So that was the thing. I went and I spoke and I started teaching these people about the stuff I was learning about business and driving traffic, and it was so much fun. It was so fulfilling. Scared as I was when I took that leap of faith, right? When I went on the call to adventure, started this journey, I was like, this is amazing. Like I feel like this has become a calling for me. How many of you have ever felt that before? You're like, this feels like something different. This isn't just like I'm going to go get a job. Like this is like a calling. Okay, I'm a huge believer in that. Like I believe that every single one of you guys who are here today, you're here for a reason, right? I don't think that it's coincidental. I think that if you're here today, it's because you felt something. And that's why you showed up. That's why you're here on day 3. You've gone through this training, right? And every single day you watch it. There's 1 million people sign up, right? 500,000 watch day number 1. It's going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. And the people who stick through are the ones who have to be successful. And so for you guys, the fact that you're here means you've already made it past like 2/3 of them, right? More and more people drop out of the game every single day. This game gets easier and easier because less people will go to the finish line. So the fact you guys are here today, day 3 into it, still paying attention is huge, okay? So that was the second thing. Then Dean talked about earlier today, like you got to be good at selling. But I don't sell. Like I'm not a salesperson. Like I'm literally the worst salesperson in the world. If you put him on a phone to try to sell somebody something, I would talk him out of buying it, right? Like I never sold before. I was scared to death. But I had this thing. I had this product. I believed it was good, right? I was like, I have to sell this to people. Like I don't know how to do that. I have to learn the skill, but I didn't know what the skill was. So I have one more video clip from that same event. And this was the very first time I tried to sell something. And I want you to see the pain and the fear and the nervousness in my eyes and my voice and my entire physiology because you'll see what it's like the very first time I sold. And hopefully this gives you comfort because a lot of you guys, this will be the first time you sold something. It's going to be something from your own mind, which is even scarier, right? You create something, and now you're taking this art and you're putting it out in the world. Like, what if they reject you? What if they hate it? What if they don't like it? It's scary. Right? Creating a product, creating something is very much an internal thing. You're doing it with you're by yourself, in your thought, in your mind, right? And then you put it out there to the world and it's like, what if they reject it? There's going to be fear. So I want to show you the very first time I tried to sell something, and just so you can see how bad it is. And again, hopefully it'll give you hope. So let's watch video number 3 right now.
Okay, am I getting close on time? If you do join the affiliate bootcamp, it'll give you lifelong training. It's a $47 a month value. You'll get it for free. Who would like a piece of that? Here's my irresistible offer. And hopefully you guys learned a lot from this presentation.
Give him a standing ovation. He did a great job.
That Not a single person stand. He's totally give him stand. Anyway, and you guys like my clothes? Like to this day, I get teased by my kids all the time. Who wants a piece of that, Dad? Like, so embarrassing. But I did it because I believed in what I was selling. Okay? Now, what's going to happen is the very first time you guys do this, it's going to be probably not as bad as mine, but it's going to be a train wreck. It's like, this didn't work. Okay? But that's okay. You got to keep doing it. And you do it a second time and you get better. You do it a third time, you get a little better. You do it a fourth time, and you keep getting better. You keep getting better. Okay? And that's the key to this business, okay? For all of you guys who right now who heard the call, you're here. You're like, this is something I want to do. This, I want to be part of it. I heard Dean and Tony and Jenna and Trent and all these amazing people talk about it. They've showed it. Now it's your shot, right? You guys you're the hero of this journey. You just heard your call to adventure, right? The refusal of the call is coming like crazy. You're hearing it from a million different spots, but now it's your time to be like, you know what? I'm not ready. I don't feel like I'm worthy yet. I don't know how to do this. I'm scared to death, but I feel called. When you hear that and you feel that, that's when you take that step and you move forward. Okay? I'm such a big believer that every single person who's here today, right? I believe that all of you guys were called. Okay? And I don't want to get emotional or spiritual or anything, but I definitely believe that that for each of us, God puts us here on the planet and says, look, you're in charge of serving this group of people. And we hear a calling, right? And so you got to serve those people. And you're like, but I'm not ready. I'm not worthy. I don't know how to do it. It scares me to death. So it doesn't matter. Okay? Many are called, but few are chosen. Why are they not chosen? It's because they have to do the things. They got to do the steps. So if you're here, you've been called. You've been called to serve a group of people. You don't know who they are yet. I thought it was people who want to make potato guns, right? And sure, I helped a couple people make potato gun. That was amazing. But I started on the journey. And I was like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? Now I fast forward 18 years later. I've had a chance to write 3 books. We built a company that has over 120,000 entrepreneurs use our platform to sell their products and their services. And I've seen like the fact that I went on this mission, I went on this journey, I started sharing my thoughts and my ideas. I've had the chance to touch now literally millions of people's lives. And that's what's so powerful. So for each of you guys, I know it doesn't make sense right now. Okay, you don't feel ready, you don't feel worthy, you're scared to death. I get those things. But if you start on this path and this process, you start moving forward and you keep doing it, there is a group of people you've been called to serve. And if you will step up to that calling, you will change their life forever. Okay, and there will be a day, someday in the future, 10 years, 150 years, 100 years in the future from now, when them and their kids will be like, man, my life was better because of so-and-so, because somebody else stepped up and they decided to make a change. Okay, I look at almost everything great in my life happened because somebody, some entrepreneur, some crazy person said, you know what? This doesn't make any sense, but I'm going to go do this. I'm going to start this business. I'm going to write this book. I'm going to create this thing. I'm going to make a course. I'm going to get this thing out of my head. I'm going to interview people. I'm going to get out of my comfort zone, but I'm going to do that thing because I've been called to serve a group of people and I got to change their life. And if you do that, I promise you the rewards on the other side are amazing. And it's something that you'll be grateful for your entire life. So I want to thank you guys for letting me spend time with you guys today. I hope that this helped give some of you guys a kick in the tush that gets you guys moving if you're waiting. Okay? Your call is here. You've heard it. And I know the refusal of the call is coming. It happens to every single one of us. You don't feel ready, you don't feel worthy. That's okay. Okay? That's why the training's here. That's why everything Dean and Tony and all of us are doing is because we know the way. We know the path. Okay? The next thing, the hero's journey, is always a guide. We're your guide. You come through this process. You take that path. And the guide's there. Yoda's there to guide you on the path, right? And we're your guides on this journey to help make sure you're successful. So with that said, thank you guys for being here with me. I cannot wait to see you guys as we continue on this program together. And thanks, Dean, for having me here. So thanks, you guys. Thanks, man.
I wish I had the voice of like Russell Brunson.
The Tony voice.
Yeah, exactly. Can we give it up for Russell? I have to tell you, I don't know if you heard me back there on camera. You can bring that down.
You were laughing at me. I heard somebody laughing honestly out loud.
I was trying. I didn't want to distract him. We're in the studio.
That bad, Russ. I can't believe it.
No, as a matter of fact, tomorrow, because you were so vulnerable, I think I'm going to pull out my first infomercial and make fun of myself.
Yes.
But can we give it up for him for being so vulnerable? And I have to say, I wrote down, who wants a piece of that? Okay, so when I do sales training for you guys, I think I have to add
Russell close.
The Russell close. Who wants a piece of that? It was so good. I have to tell you, you got more handsome through the years, so I have to tell you, much better haircut. Colette did you well.
Made me grow my hair out.
Yeah.
That was good, that.
But I just want to tell you, I wrote so many things down, that starting with a potato gun. Like, so many times I feel like so many think, like they see what we're doing and it seems so effortlessly. Believe me, I barely slept for the last 30 days putting this together. None of it's effortless, but it took me 25 years to get here. And to be able to...
I literally remember when I was creating this product, going through Tony's course and being like, man, someday it'd be cool to be like a Tony Robbins. Like thinking that as I was making this. Like,
same thing, it's how
this was the journey for me being here, hanging out with Dean and Tony. Like, it's insane, but it's the first step. Anyway, I don't
Yeah, no, you're not cutting me off at all. It's just, I just hope you see, and it's even what Shalene said yesterday. It's like, get the framework, get the context, get the rules, and jump in. And you might say, okay, I learned on this one, but now it's time to go to this. I was calling it the dot. Like, what you're going to teach is this little niche.
Yeah.
And you might pick this niche or this dot and realize potato guns was cool, but I'm going to go on to teach affiliate marketing. But
and what was cool about it is the hardest one, always the first one. Like, this was hard because I had to figure out, how do you get a designer to make something that looks cool? How do you record something? I don't know any of those things. I had to learn all this stuff, and I did it. And then it was finished, and I was like, oh, now I have the skill set. And I was like, I'm going to do affiliate marketing, or whatever the next thing was like, okay, I know who to hire to do the design. I know how to make videos. Like, the second time was infinitely easier. So I think a lot of times for a lot of you guys, the very first time, just do something quick. Like, make your version of the potato gun just to, like, practice it. And then you're like, oh, now I got the skill sets. Now you can apply it to anything, and it's really easy at that point.
yeah. Well, brother, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.
I appreciate it. All right. Oh, can I throw one thing real quick?
Yeah.
I know we've been talking a lot about how to take your own knowledge and put it out there, but I want to share some of you guys today about me interviewing other people, because a lot of times that's where most of us start. I started my journey by interviewing other people and doing it that way. And so we did a training with the KBB members last year, going deep into that. Like, how do you do that? How do you find people to interview? And how do you interview them? And how do you turn that into an actual product as well? So for anyone who's scared or nervous about you being the person the very first time and you want to start that path where you're interviewing other people, I'd love to throw that whole training in as a bonus as well for anybody. And that'll help you if you're on that ledge of just like, I'm nervous. That'll help give you guys the ability to start easier in a
awesome,
fast way.
And it's a killer training. I watched the whole thing. It's how to be the reporter. And it's how we interviewed other people to create your first course. Thank you so much, man. Thanks for flying down. Don't leave yet. Let's stick around. All right. Can we give it up for Russell in the chat and for Jamie Kern-Lima for flying in and sharing their heart? I know we went longer than we hoped today. Hey, do we have permission? Was it okay that we went a longer? Are you guys mad at us that we went a little long? But how do you cut off Jamie or cut off Russell? I wanted to see more. Who wanted to see more funny videos of Russell? Just being honest, I laughed my butt off. I couldn't even control it. I laughed so hard that I know he probably heard me. But I just think... I'm so excited for the way that this 3 days has turned out so far. You can't imagine the work that went in this, and it took us 65 years of doing this and failing more and succeeding and all the different things and the relationships we've built to be able to bring all this together. You know, it might look easy now, but it was a lot of work to do this. And the last 3 days for my heart has been filled. For my friends to come and share has been filled. For the comments has been amazing. So thank you for playing full out. And we're not done. We're absolutely not even close. Listen, there are questions you have right now that will be answered over the next couple of days. So don't think, oh, I learned how to be empowered and have my mindset. I learned about the dot. I learned how to sell on another level. Believe me, there is a whole nother depth, but tomorrow we're going to be learning how to find those people that are on, how to use social media to find the exact people. That's not a gift that Tony and I had when we first started, even when Russell first started, because the internet wasn't there and not available, and now it is. And then Friday, we're going to bring it all together in a big way. We have 3 speakers tomorrow. I'm not even going to tell you who they are until tomorrow, but I promise you, you're going to lose your mind on the 3 speakers we have tomorrow. One of them is already here, and she's ready to share from her heart, and she is so amazing. We just got to know each other. She's not someone that's a long-term friend. She's a new friend, and she is amazing. We have, I'm not going to share anymore, other than tomorrow is going to be amazing. And I want to share this. If today I pulled back the curtain on how to get into this feeling of service, that you love what you do so much that you feel bad not getting it out to the world, that if you're called to serve, like Russell said, or you have to take 1 more no or 2 more no's to get through, like Jamie said, I wanted to pull back the curtain, and then I wanted to show you the process to sell. And I have to tell you, I want to thank you for all the incredible comments. When we shared what Tony and I have been working on, we condensed 60 years, decades, into a brand new course that's designed for this shifting world. But I have to tell you, about 2% of the people are like, I can't believe something's being sold. And I have to tell you, if you felt that, then you need something like this more than anyone else. Because if selling feels a little uncomfortable, if selling makes you go, I can't believe they're doing this, then you're looking at it through a completely wrong lens. I couldn't wait to share this with you. I know if you want to be in this industry, if you want to take the path of Russell, Jamie, everybody else that was here, you could figure it out on your own over the next decade. Or you could take what we've obsessed on for 9 months after 60 years of doing this that is priceless and be able to have the shortcut, right? So I just want you to think through that lens. If you felt uncomfortable, then you need this more than ever, because if you build it, they will not come. If we created the greatest course on the planet and gave you the immersion and gave you 8 weeks worth of live training and gave you free access to the platform and let you come to our event with a VIP ticket, we sold those tickets. We sold that event out last year. We've never done anything like this. If we built that and didn't share that with you today, if I didn't offer that to you today, we'd sell 3. And be doing those of you who are ready to take full immersion, to take uncomfortable action, to make this real, we'd be screwing all of you over. Just like that woman who would be screwing people over if she didn't help moms in their 4th trimester. Or Jamie didn't help my daughter or help my son by learning how to help cure eczema naturally. When you look through that lens, you'll never say, I wonder why they're selling. You'll be like 98% of the people who say, thanks, Dean. Thanks, Tony. Thanks for spending 60 years figuring this out and giving us the ability to figure it out for less than $1,000. So again, thank you for letting me share. Now let's get ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow we are gonna light it up. My guests are off the charts. Oh my God, tomorrow, I think tomorrow's all the ladies rocking the house. Wait till you see who's coming. And right now we have KK gonna come out here, and she has some amazing gifts to give away because so many of you took action in the Facebook group. Thank you for doing that. And the last thing I want to say, I had so many notes, but we got long today again. I'm sorry, but we can't help ourselves. We want to deliver. But here's what I want to share. The reason we give you homework at night is because you need to get used to taking an action after you learn. So many of us, okay, I want to just say it like it is. I've been teaching people for over 2 decades. So many of us get excited and energized off of the learning. But when it comes to the doing, you're like, oh, I'll do that later. Don't be addicted to just learning new capabilities. Get addicted to the uncomfortable feeling of taking action, of moving forward. Your next level, this is my last comment for the day. Your next level of life lives on the other side of the thing you're avoiding or you're fearful of. It's as simple as that. I've noticed that my entire life. When I finally move forward, when I gain the capabilities, I learn from someone's there, the only thing left is me to go, okay. And every time my next level lives over there. So remember that. If there's anything that's feeling hesitant, uncomfortable, that's what you have to break through. We got 2 more incredible days. We got some prizes. We got some homework for tonight. You got 5 more minutes. Stay put, and let's give it up for KK!
Thanks, Dean. Let's give it for Dean Graziosi, everybody. You've done amazing today. You have trained with some of the most intelligent minds on the planet. I would love you to celebrate yourself for a second. My friends, it is time for our daily wrap-up. Can you believe this is your 3rd one? We're wrapping up for the day. I'd like you to take both arms, and only drop this. Put both arms up in the air like this. Come on, you know I'm crazy. Just work with me, okay? And then I want you to just give a little bit of shimmy. Just give you a little bit of shimmy and celebrate yourself right now. Drop your arms, you crazy people. My gosh, I got some of you over here judging. You're like, I didn't come here to dance. I came here to own my future. All right, it's time for the daily wrap-up, my friends. If you're feeling good, if you're feeling strong, if you're feeling powerful, I would love you to put both arms up in the air. Give me that double fist bump and say yes. Cool. We've got a few things to talk about. Number 1, if you did not realize the training opportunity that you had today, I need you to become aware of it. First up, you had 3 great speakers. Dean crushed it this morning. Did you learn a little bit of something about how to get your message across to people? Did you learn it? And I'm saying not did you just learn the things that he was saying, but were you studying how he did it, how he said it, how he shared it, what he put on the screen, how he flowed through it, how he enrolled you into a vision? Did you miss the whole point? My friends, that opportunity right there. I was outside. We have kind of like a double studio. And the moment it happened, I ran into the production studio. I sat on the floor. I was barefoot. And I was taking notes like crazy. There's one thing that I learned from Tony Robbins about a year ago. And he said, never miss the opportunity to study in real time. Some people miss the moments of studying because where are they? They're in their what? And when you're in your head, you're dead. Did you miss the opportunity to study what went down? This industry is about you taking the knowledge that lives inside of you, your birthright, and disseminating it and sharing it with the world and enrolling people into a vision. That's what a leader is. We want you to be good, salespeople, but good people. Enroll people into a vision. Be a leader in your life. And to do that, you've really got to know how it's done. So if you watch that and you learned something powerful and you saw it, I want to see the people that saw it, and you took that opportunity to study, I want you to let me know in the chat box right now. Let me know say I did it, okay? And you learned it. Now, if you watch that and you didn't take it as an opportunity to study, or you couldn't do that, if you couldn't sit up here and do something like that, then it looks like your next project is coming up next. Did you get what I put down there? Your project next, wink, wink, okay? You want to learn how to share this information. Such a beautiful opportunity today. I am so unbelievably excited about what Tony and Dean put together. And this was only day 3, so you have 2 more days. So day 1, you had psychology. Day 2, you found your dot. Day 3, we're talking about sharing your message. And then day 4 and 5 are extremely important. You're going to be talking about where do you find these people to share your message with? And what if I still don't know my message? Is that okay? Yes or yes? Trust the what? Trust the what? You guys are so good. My VIPs, you guys are kicking butt. You're all saying process out loud. That's amazing. I want to celebrate you guys. Trust the process. You got 5 full days. We're here as a team. We're doing this together. And I want to just quickly celebrate. Let's throw some applause up, open, the mic so they can share. Everyone that's in Project Next are ready. Holy moly, you guys are in for a ride. It's one of the best things I've ever seen them put together. Then let's just give a round of applause for Jamie Kern-Lima and Russell Brunson. I mean, humorous, funny, heartfelt. They gave you skills, knowledge, tools, real life experience of people that are in your shoes that have gone to where they are today using the system that you're learning. What a beautiful day to be alive. And then it brings us to our daily wrap up. This moment right now where we get a chance to not only celebrate you, but give away a few prizes, talk about your homework, talk about your worksheet. So go to oyfworkbook.com. I dropped my paper. Let me grab it. oyfworkbook.com, and then you guys are going to see your worksheet for the day. That's 4 questions. If you've been doing your worksheet, just wave at me so I can see, or drop a yes if you guys are YouTube or Facebook. Those worksheets are really available for you. You don't have to do anything crazy and print it and write it. I mean, just look at it. Conceptually, at least conceptually think of your answers and walk yourself through that process. To be successful in this industry, you have to coach yourself. True or true? Through limitation, through hesitation, through that nervous feeling, you have to coach yourself to get to the other side. Not crazy, just by 2 millimeters. So this is that moment for you to coach yourself through that. And then today you're going to go live inside the Facebook group, and you're going to share your unique hook, okay? You guys learned that hook, story, irresistible offer today. Did you learn that? I mean, you double learned it. You learned how to do it, and then you got an irresistible offer. Double learning, double training. Always be aware of training. So you're going to go live and share your unique hook for your ideal clients. Just one of them. You can change this. You can come up with more tomorrow, the 4th day, the 5th day, but find that hook and share it with us in the group. And remember, in 3 minutes or what? Less. You guys have done so great. I want to commend you and honor you. You've been really, really, really incredible, and we've loved watching your videos. So 3 minutes or less. If 60 seconds, definitely bonus points. Go live in the group, and then our team will be watching. If you joined Hiders Anonymous yesterday, because you've been in the Facebook group kind of lurking and not really out there, John Allenbot waved at me, my friend. I see you. Good job at jumping into the group. You guys can always tag us or tag me in those videos, and I'll come celebrate you. We're really here for your results. This is a family. You're going to do this thing, join this industry, but do you have to do it alone? No. That's why we're here. That's why they've made this so simple for you guys. So go live in that group. And then finally, we want to celebrate your amazing participation. You guys have been incredible over these 5 days of full-out training, completely free. Can you believe that you've had this opportunity? I mean, it's been so special. And this is your chance today to continue showing up with all that full-out energy. And I'm going to give away a few prizes for those of you that have done a great job. So I'm giving away 3 prizes today, okay? An Amazon gift card, an iPad, and 1 ticket to the World Summit, which is Dean's live event. Are you guys ready? Okay, let's get a little drum roll up in here. Winner number 1 going home with a $250 Amazon gift card is Sharon Stystad. Pronunciation doesn't really matter in this moment. It's all about emotion, okay? Come on, you know what I mean. Winner number 2, going home with an iPad. You're gonna create a new business, join a new industry, get a new iPad. My gosh, the winner is, my friends, Monica Rosario. And winner number 3, going home with a ticket to not only a summit, but the World Summit, a multi-day live training event with Dean Graziosi and a ton of other amazing speakers, is going to Keith Lutes. All right, give it up for everybody, my friends. Some amazing participation today, and every single day you guys have done absolutely amazing. To wrap up here, we're gonna have some energy because we don't leave unless we're in that cranked, energetic state. And then number 2, our VIPs stick around. We've got a quick 5-minute break, and then we're gonna be back for your laser coaching session. Let's celebrate every single person in here taking on the next step of their chapter, next step of their project, next step of their life to own their future. And I wanna celebrate every single one of you. So if you are physically able to do so, why don't you guys stand up and shake that body out and then just celebrate your life for how incredible that you've been at the Own Your Future Challenge, my friends. And we'll see you guys tomorrow at the same time for day 4 of this beautiful multi-day training event. We love you guys, and we'll see you soon. And celebrate yourself. All right, bye-bye. VIP, see you in 5 minutes.